Hi everyone. I my Zoom was blocked. I mean, I was pissed. I was fit to be tied this morning. When I saw this was blocked, I was like, what are you people doing? And I was gonna talk about these two guys. This is Zach Costello and then DD got a podcast. Because this gets into the saga between Gary Melton and Candace Owens. And see, this is how, Jesse on Fire, he's always like, I know, I know, I know, I know, I know. Um, I mean, Jesse on Fire definitely, he's worth watching because it's kind of like one of these idea people who they're good to have around because he's a good guy. He's not malicious. But he's always got all of these ideas, and so that's good to have around. It's just sometimes it's like, well, okay, we just don't want to run all the way down the road down with that until we're quite sure that that's exactly where we should be going. um so yeah, he's and then he and his wife do another one. But they're all part of the propaganda machine. uh so anyway, um these two guys, the whole thing between Candace and Gary Melton. So as I'm saying, Jesse on Fire, he's like, I know, I know, like he never doubts himself. He never questions himself. That's kind of his downfall. But so at first I thought, uh, let's see, well, it's Gary Melton. Zach Costello is going to talk with Gary Melton. That Gary Melton was, Fed, CIA, whatever you want to, intelligence, military, industrial complex, because there's different factions there. And I mean, I don't know enough. I know where all the different factions are with the women's rights, the children's nonprofits, those military. I've never been really known anybody in the military. I don't know any of the factions, but I do know that there are just as many out there and just as these different cells all over the frickin' place. Um, as in the IMF, the World Bank, the Capitol Hill, the different federal government agencies. Everybody keeps on beating dead horses. Like, for example, the ruling elite, Rothschild. You jump from Rothschild to Elon Musk, Bill Gates. They keep on, yeah, they're in there, but it takes a hell of a lot more than that, you know, to build the networks that they need. I mean, this is what the Epstein files have come out, but Whitney Webb, she's been documenting all of this stuff. That's been in her book. That's been published for years. I contacted her, never respond. Nobody will work together. The only people who responded to me, let's see, there's Jordan Peterson, but he bucks me over to his wife, who at first she said, yeah, let's talk. Then I sent her an email kind of about, outline of what my research was about and what it had found so we could talk. So she'd have a little bit of, and I never heard back from her. I, I mean, this is just, I was labeled a mole. I mean, at first I was like, what are you talking about, a mole? So this is like a spy. For the men, the very first weekend that this is 2009, I went to a demonstration of the protective mothers groups. Mothers of lost children was the ones who usually organize that, at the White House and up on Capitol Hill and stuff. I mean, I stopped going years ago. It's just a revolving door of women who want to get together and bitch and gather for social gathering once a year in Washington or a couple times a year and go to restaurants and spend money they don't have and post stuff on Facebook. So anyway, it's like all of the, this no kings thing. I'm like, I'm sick of it. I've been back in this city for 18 years. You go to demonstration is just like it's another social gathering, watering hole here. And now they have, with the internet, oh my God, they have all sorts of social networking groups. And the only ones who make any money or benefit from that are the organizers with the platforms who charge everybody to go to their things, and the people providing the food and drink. I mean, it's all a scam. Um, and keep on piling shit, and then nobody will notice how the country is going to shit. So anyway, I digress. But yeah, this was. I'm glad that Zach Costello did this because it was a 3 hour plus conversation that he had with Gary Melton. So this brings, reduces it down. And Gary Melton did a 6 hours. But see, I started that, I thought that Gary Melton was military industrial complex, but yeah, no, I'm pretty sure that it's more his wife. It's just, the cat fights of women. And she's military. I'm not sure. I'm not positive because I think she's like the carrot top like him. That there was a video, a short video, I think was posted on Instagram. They were going to a gun show. So, but she had like, like reddish hair like he does, and like Zach Costello. And I mean, in my family, they have that the carrot top. That's from the Irish and the Scottish blood. So anyway, let's see. So I don't know, and I don't know who Lisa is. Then there's Jen, the producer, but that you only see the photo or the image. So I don't know. There's some women there, but I think it's coming more from there, which cracks me up because in the whole cat fights, the mommy wars. I mean, that's where my terrain is, the feminist, the anti-feminist, and the socialites in this whole thing, because nobody's looking at that. And with the women's entry into positions of power, there's been a void because the trad wife, I mean, this you're seeing with like Erica Kirk, the trad wife, the real trad wife, was, assured that her husband's profession, his career, was successful. And, that sometimes, I mean, like I always, with my ex-husband, I'm like, he was a hot-headed currency trader when I met him. If he hadn't been married and married to a wife who would put her foot down when it needed to be put down, but not bust his chops, how shall I explain it? He wouldn't have gotten where he was. And I mean, the other day, it's too funny. This guy at the IMF, I'm like telling him about, yeah, my crash and burn banker husband, who was the director of the Treasury Department of Banco Ganadero in Colombia at the turn of the century. He crashed and burned in 2002. But I was like, yeah, and the thing is if he had listened to me, because I was talking about he was from Argentina, and I was like, oh yeah, I wanted to go to Buenos Aires and buy an apartment when back in the 90s, when the real estate market collapsed and the currency collapsed. I was like, oh, let's go. I mean, you could pick up $100,000 apartment for $10,000. You know, so I was like, oh, let's go. And I mean, everything I told my ex-husband, let's do this or let's not do that, we would have made a killing if he had done what I had told him, even the 2008 collapse. And he's the big wig banker. Um, and I still want to see all the financials. He claims he lost everything. I still want to see everything. But the point being, here, this, I'm supposedly this stupid wife. And I mean, the IMF, 7 years I worked for them. I'm not a dumb bimbo, and I was listening and watching it, everything that they were doing. And oh, Lordy Lord, get me some lawyers who know what they're doing and have some brains. I mean, this is, the whole goddamn thing in New York with the Me Too bullshit is ludicrous. Also, that whole thing is going to fall apart and be a whole mess because the statute of limitations laws or laws that they passed to take away the statute of limitation on these sexual assault things was unconstitutional from the beginning. So now you got a shit show. I mean, you had so many lawsuits, countersuits. People can claim, sue New York for damages. The judicial system in this country is, I mean, just in shambles. Absolute shambles. We've got Gonzalez, Linehan versus USA, 2011, Inter-American Commission on Human Rights. The American government claimed that they no longer had control, or that they didn't have control, not no longer, that they didn't have control of their courts at the local and state level. I told the other women, I said, ladies, they just said that they didn't have jurisdiction over the states. Well, then what is the government, the federal government, exist for? They've just negated their raison d'etre under the U.S. Constitution, the assholes. Tell them, shove that up their ass and tell Congress to dissolve itself and get out of town, and let's get some decent elections in here. All the little ladies are squabbling too much. Anyway, let's get to it with, I mean, this was, Zach and Dee Dee, they are, I'm there. Some voices of sanity.
Later, I'm here to have discussions which got tense and heated, and I would even say comical at times, with Gary Melton on his YouTube channel, as I said, Paramount Tactical. We talked for like 3.5 hours. I think the overall was, I think he even went on longer. It's like 6 hours on his channel. I trimmed off on my channel. We co-hosted the live, and then I trimmed off him answering all of his super chats afterwards. So it's about 3.5 hours on my channel there. But that's what I did. And then I had to split out for the weekend. I had some family stuff, and I went away. And and I didn't really have a chance to look at very much. I had a chance kind of to think about how everything went. But today and right now is really the first time that I've been able to comment on it. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to take you through a few different moments. One of which contains pretty bombshell information about what Tyler Robinson's family thinks about all of this. And this happened in real time during the conversation with Gary. I'm going to take you through that. First, though, I want to make something crystal clear about my role and my contribution in all of this. I'm going to start here with what is basically my opening statement to this discussion. Ultimately, Gary and Andrew Wilson, in addition, who I discussed this also with last week, believe that there is overwhelming evidence that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And Gary asked me to tell him where I disagreed with him. And that's where we're going to start today. I'm Zach Costello.
Well, I guess taking it from the beginning, where do you think that you disagree with me on when it comes to the overall Charlie Kirk assassination?
Well, I think probably our fundamental disagreement with regard to the Charlie Kirk assassination would be your diagnosis of Candace 19 that you seem to have caught with regard to your perspective on what Candace Owens is doing. So I think that's probably where our fundamental disagreement is. I think ultimately that what Candace Owens is doing is valuable to the Charlie Kirk investigation. And I understand the other side thinks that what she is doing is evil, which I do not think is fair and I do not agree with. And here's what I'll basically say. Ultimately, my opinion on the Charlie Kirk assassination case is that there is enough evidence, I'm going to use that term, evidence, proving reasonable doubt that Tyler Robinson acted alone or even took the shot from the spot on the roof that the authorities are claiming that he did. And my coverage of the different arguments, leads, tips, reading of the charging documents, listening to the different statements and arguments made by people like Kash Patel, Governor Cox, Joe Kent recently, Candace Owens, who I mentioned, Gary Melton is one of those people, etc. And discerning those different theories is how I arrived at the perspective that I have, that there is reasonable doubt that Tyler Robinson did not act alone, or he was not the shooter at all. And I'm not jumping to any conclusion regarding the assassination. I simply am discerning the truth, and I'm considering what I believe to be solid points and arguments, and I'm talking about what I believe to be true. I understand that there have been some bad arguments. There have been some theories put forward that I myself have dismissed in my own mind. I understand there are theories out there that others have dismissed. But I mean, in addition to all this, I mean, I'll say that I think ultimately I am working backwards from a skepticism or a distrust of the state and federal authorities. My opinion is that their record of incompetence and dishonesty causes them to not be trusted. And therefore, I support a decentralized open source investigation into the Charlie Kirk assassination to ensure that public pressure is applied, bad actors are exposed so that we can know the full truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. And this doesn't end up like some JFK assassination case or conspiracy. So that right there, as I just laid out, is my position. That's my position. And I want to reiterate what I said there, that decentralized open source probe to ensure that we are being told the truth about what happened to Charlie Kirk. That is what I support, and that's what I believe in. I'm not attached to any specific conclusion. And I just want to know who all are responsible so that they are held accountable and that true justice is served. I've been asked and challenged, well, Zach, what is your end game? What's your end game? That Tyler Robinson gets off? It's like, no, my end game is simply that all responsible are found and convicted. That's it. I want nothing withheld from us. You guys have heard me say this. I don't know how many times. I want the truth regardless of the consequences, whoever it implicates. I don't care who it is. I just want whoever it is and all that they are to be found and convicted and guilty for true and whole and complete justice. And I believe that this open source inquiry and the discernment of alternative theories is needed to apply the required public pressure on the investigative authorities to be competent and honest, which they have proven not to be. They have not proven themselves to be competent and honest. And I cited examples like COVID, the lab leak theory, January 6th, the 2020 election, Butler, Pennsylvania. And the thing is, Gary agreed with me about these other conspiracy points. But it's like this time, though. Yes, this time it's different. This time we can believe the FBI. This time we can believe the authorities, you guys. And it's this, along with, as I mentioned there, Gary's terminal diagnosis of Candace 19. This is where we fundamentally disagree. But I was thinking about this over the weekend. Like, truly, after having these more difficult discussions with opponents, you would say, like, what's my role in this whole thing? And guys, I have always been, that stupid thumbs up thing. I have always been an advocate for free speech. I am a free speech absolutist. And for those conducting research and investigating leads and evidence here as it relates to Charlie Kirk, I've been a defender of these individuals who are in good faith, putting out research, putting out arguments, putting out different theories, putting out different evidence. And that applies to Candace Owens, Baron Coleman, Ian Carroll, Gary Melton, when he was doing it. He doesn't do that anymore. Now he just attacks and criticizes Candace, as I said to his face. Not like I'm talking about him behind his back. I literally said it to his face.
That's true. At first, I mean, I saw a couple of his things at first of the ballistics, because that's mainly what most people were looking at the beginning, because everybody was like, this doesn't make sense. Like, shouldn't his head have been shot off? I mean, like, not to be morbid. I mean, like, what? This is when things, it's really difficult because when people are gaslighting you, there's the smokes and mirrors type things, so you can't always believe exactly what you're seeing. And this is what it is so strange. It's still, see, now, like, almost positive that this was a ritualistic killing. There's lots and lots and lots of evidence of that. Just, the circumstantial of the 333 and Valhalla and all of these in the Trump administration saying these things. There is that, was it a hexagon or I forget, but where Charlie Kirk is killed. Um, Erica Kirk, God damn that jewelry. I mean, those rings, God. Yeah, just there's a lot of questions that need to be answered there, but there is a lot of indication that this was ritualistic. But just a lot of questions, a lot of questions. And they need to be asked and they need to be answered.
Martinson is another one. Blake Bednar's is a guy who's popped up, and I'll show you more from him in a second, etc. These are all different people, all different researchers, journalists, etc., who have been looking into this Charlie Kirk case. And I am in favor of all of them doing so. And I've commented on various investigators and arguments who have put forth the different arguments and theories regarding what happened to Charlie Kirk by all of these different individuals, each talking about all different things. And what I just cannot stand, because this is what drives me insane, and what I am completely against, is the shutdown, silencing, diagnosing, or labeling of any alternative argument or dissenter as some evil, lunatic conspiracy theorist who should not be allowed to talk.
Yeah, I mean, he's completely right on that. I mean, this is any, whatever. I mean, you can say, well, that's like crazy. I mean, I had my discussion with, what is it, Jordan Hinshaw. I got on X and, come and debate me or something. And I got upset because I was like, well, wait a second. I'm not, you don't want to debate you, because he wanted, like, prove me wrong. And because I was like, I'm not, because he's sitting there he's sitting there shocking himself every 5 minutes, trying to prove that this could all be a Hollywood, cinema thing, and that Charlie Kirk's not dead, and this is all, was a Hollywood thing. I said, I believe that you don't have to do all of this shocking yourself and all of this cinema for me to accept Jesse on Fire. He explained that. He showed some videos. He says, here is how they do it in Hollywood. Yeah, okay. I've seen many movies, and you're like, yeah, this looks really real. So no problem. But it was just, I was like, what we need to look into is, I don't want to sit here and have a debate, a circular, because what he kept on saying was that I couldn't give him my opinion on whether Charlie Kirk would have faked his own death if I had never known somebody who had faked their own death and come back to life. And I said, that's ridiculous. I don't need to know somebody who has faked their own death, and for me to know that they had faked their death, I would have to know that they came back to life. So that's like a lot of ifs. And I don't really know anybody, I mean, I know some people who have died of old age and who were killed. So, okay, okay. But then they would have to come back to life, and that's never happened. So, but I still can give my opinion on whether somebody's faked their own death. So, I mean, I was like, I don't see I find it a waste of time and energy, and I don't see the added value of a discussion like that when what I wanted to discuss, I said, well, you know, what I got no problem that this would be a fake. I just, you know, it's like, okay, well, where's the motivation? Who's behind this? You know, is this military? The motivation, I believe, is, you know, Trump had basically, Charlie helped him get voted in. He started saying stuff that Trump, you know, about Israel that was not like, so let's take him out. I mean, this is 101, you know, protection racket mafia 101. This is not rocket science. But, you know, so I'm like, let's move on. And he just wanted to sit there and argue on a platform for like 15 minutes on this thing, whether I would know whether I could give my expert opinion on whether Charlie Kirk would fake it or not. I mean, I was just so yeah. I believe in freedom of speech, but anyway, I digress. But you know, like let's all contribute and totally that everybody, even you know, crazy. Like okay, there was the handgun. Well, you start looking at the handgun, and pretty quickly you're gonna. I mean, you can X that out. So you move on. But it's fun, you know. Like yeah, well, there was something there. Somebody had the idea. Let's look at the idea. Okay, for this reason, and then you move on, and then let's look at. You know, this is how you look at a situation where you have to figure, you know, who done it. That's what you do. Who done it? And, you know, all sorts of little clues and things. And maybe this is nothing. Maybe this is something. That's how you figure it out.
This is my biggest issue. And I have served this entire time as a commenter and defender of these individuals who I consider conducting an open source, free exchange investigation into what happened to Charlie Kirk. And it is so incredibly needed because of everything that we have been through. And why? Why? Because these are the types who were proven correct through all of those other examples that I just cited in our recent history. We think about during COVID, all these individuals that came out, went on Joe Rogan. Joe Rogan himself was crucified by the media mob, by the establishment for platforming guys like Dr. Peter McCullough or Dr. Robert Malone for them coming out and speaking out against the mRNA vaccine or the official COVID narrative. Guys talking about the lab leak theory that turned out to be true. People talking about how it was a conspiracy theory that there were FBI agents in the crowd on January 6th. Guess what?
Yeah, the lab leak theory, I remember. I mean, I clearly remember because it was in June when, right after the shutdown. So when this started, and it was Facebook, somebody had posted some video. I wish I had saved it. I reposted it, and someone had it was an interview of some guys who were saying that there were patents held by eventually, you know, Bill Gates through different shell companies, but patents on COVID that were the same strain as the COVID that was getting everybody shut down. And so I was like, and that those were held in the United States, and that the research had been first done in North Carolina, but then they had to move it, and that's when it went to Wuhan. And I was like, well, this is pretty simple to figure out. I mean, this is at the very beginning. I was like, this is pretty simple to figure out. Find out if the patents that he has, there were apparently a whole slew of them, several dozen, on the different strains are the same that are out there. If they are, well, you got your smoking gun. Now, then you have to prove, I mean, okay, you have to prove this is the shell companies that everybody's saying of Bill Gates. And then you have to prove that it was on purpose instead of accidental. So, you know, just because it would have gotten out doesn't mean it was done on purpose. So, but it is a smoking gun. I was like, well, wait a second, the patents are the same. So, the evidence was there from the beginning.
That came out to be true. And all those people who said that the FBI was there, they were all labeled conspiracy theorists. Mm-hmm. The FBI told us that in Butler, Pennsylvania, Thomas Crooks, he didn't have an online footprint. Well, Tucker Carlson did an investigation. Tucker Carlson's investigative journalist is the one that found it, despite what the FBI told us. So, are we now just not supposed to? Now we're supposed to take the FBI's word for it? Now we're supposed to take the states and the authorities' word for it? Somebody asked me, well, why don't you just let Utah State or the Utah State Police handle this? And my response was, oh, are those the same bozos that were supposed to cover the roof at UVU that day? And this is my biggest thing with regard to now having conversations now with Gary Melton and Andrew Wilson, who are adamant that the state has provided the most rational explanation as to what happened that day. They believe, based on what the state has told us, that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And here's what it comes down to for me, guys. There is no one conclusion that I am glued to here. In fact, now after talking to these guys and after many of you reaching out to me and telling me some different arguments as to the different theories, I'm actually even more open-minded. I'm considering now more theories and other theories with regard to what happened to Charlie Kirk that day. But I'm certainly not glued to any one conclusion. I just simply want to know the truth, and I defend those looking into it in good faith. And that's important, because if you knowingly put out false information or you're seeking to mislead, then I cannot and I won't defend that. I'm not doing that. I'm not looking to defend anybody who's putting out knowingly false information. But pursuit of truth in good faith.
And there's been some real doozies. Let's see, George Webb. I mean, the man, I believe I looked into his LinkedIn profile. Now he was IBM. He's been in the whole computer IT world since the beginning. Yeah, and he's like social media. He does. He's not an investigative reporter, and I think he's just a hired hack. But he's one who has really put some of the stuff. I'm just like, I'll listen to him occasionally, and I'm like, I can't listen to this shit.
And free exchange of ideas and questions. I am going to defend, and that has been consistent from day.
Also, when I see stuff like George Webb and things like that, I'm like, and I can't, with all of the money being thrown around, and this is 20 years I've been working on all of the global expat stuff. It's a long story. And I can't find capital venture money for my social media platform because nobody wants to empower me. They want to get me living on a street in a tent and shut me up forever.
Day one of this Charlie Kirk investigation. And I'm not going to shy away or be afraid of having these tough and difficult conversations. Guys, we're talking about Charlie Kirk. Like, that's exactly what he did. He embraced and he advocated for this that we're doing right here. Will talk to people that I tend to agree with. I will talk to allies. I will talk to people from our side versus their side. I don't care. I really don't care. These are discussions, and they can get heated. They can get tense. This whole argument on, this is a debate. It's not a debate. It's the frustrating thing about Andrew Wilson is he and I got into an exchange, and it was considered a debate, maybe from his side, but we couldn't even get past the definitions of words. It turned into an argument about definitions of like the word decoy and other semantics. It's stupid. I saw someone in the comments say, when you're in a debate, you're looking to be right. You're just looking to be right. I don't care if I'm right. I just want the truth. I literally just want the truth. That's it. And guys, I come from the baseball world. Like the baseball world, you get in at bat, you take a swing. Sometimes you crush it. Sometimes you swing and miss. Sometimes you strike out. You got to get up. You got to get back up there, get back up in your next at bat and have success. This is the way these things go. This is the way life goes. We're after the pursuit of truth. That's it. That's really all it comes down to. And having good and difficult conversations with people that don't agree. Like I do this all. I enjoy doing it. I really do. But I just made it clear on who I'm going to defend. And now I want to show you some of these moments from this conversation or this discussion with Gary Melton, and a few of these moments that got super frustrating. But I think what I did a very good and effective job of here was exposing the hypocrisy on their side, or at least the ones who claim that Tyler Robinson is guilty. Their side would be the ones who believe the state is telling us everything that we need to know and that Tyler Robinson is guilty. And they say that there is overwhelming evidence which states as such. And that just isn't the case. Did you guys know that the charging documents do not state one shred of evidence that Tyler Robinson was actually on the roof that day? No evidence has been presented to us proving that. And this is my frustration with those who say that Tyler Robinson is guilty, put him to death right now. They don't actually know this. They can't. They don't actually know that nothing in the charging documents puts Tyler Robinson on the roof that day at UVU. They don't know. They don't know that. They'll then cite his own parents think that Tyler Robinson did it. And then this is where the bombshell was dropped in real time during the conversation, as I disagreed that his parents actually believe that, citing what the account Billy and Brandy found when they were at UVU. Take a listen to this part of the conversation. So, this is Jack. How do you pronounce his last name? You can Kosovic.
Yeah.
Said, I have a question for the people who don't think killed Tyler Robinson. And he makes the challenge to talk to his parents. And then, as Brandy and Billy says here, this is the tweet that I am referring to. We did ask them ourselves. Tyler Robinson's family does not think that he did this. And they said it to us face to face at the January 16th hearing. The narrative that you read online about his family turning him in is not true.
Okay.
We'll be continuing the rest of the hearings. So
that's not his parents.
Okay. But I guess I would say,
we're both
right though. But I would say we're both right because, again, the narrative that you read online about his family turning him in is not true. So I think that point.
Okay. So see, this is why you need to know all of the little details, and you know, it's important to listen to all of the different people who are doing all of these different things. I get it that a lot of the podcasters, you know, they're like, well, I don't have time to listen to the other podcasters and all of the different theories. Well, yeah, but then you're missing a lot of the points. And when you get into debate, first, you don't have all of the evidence. And, you know, second, well, you're not really prepared. And you know, you kind of like you lose your effectiveness, because what happened with this was Brandy and Billy were at the courthouse and in the courtroom and sitting right behind this family, and somebody right in front of them, this woman right in front of them, turned around because they were talking about the case and about the family and the whole thing. And the woman turned around and she said, you know, like, these are his parents right next to me. I mean, I don't know if it was sitting right next or the next person down or something, but, you know, they're hearing everything that you're saying, which is perfectly normal. That somebody would have said something, wouldn't have been Tyler Robinson's parents, but somebody there would have said to Brandy and Billy, this is, I mean, perfectly believable. In fact, it would have been quite, you know, like rude and weird that somebody would have said, hey, you guys, these are his parents, so, like, you know, kind of be careful what you say. And it was that person who said, no, they don't believe, you know, the family doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson did it, and his parents don't believe it. So his parents didn't directly say it, but they were right there. And it was a member of the family who was there in the courthouse who said that, no, the parents and the family do not believe that Tyler Robinson, you know, shot Charlie Kirk. So that's what exactly happened.
Whoa. That's not a narrative online. That's a narrative, two things that was presented by two people. Number one, that narrative was presented
in the charging documents.
It's what's that?
That narrative is from the charging documents. I think
you know who else confirmed that narrative?
Who else confirmed the narrative that his family turned him in?
Yes.
Who?
Candace Owens.
Oh, Gary, no, I was hoping you weren't going to say that. I'm going to pause that right there. When he was about to say that, I was really hoping, don't say Candace. Don't say Candace Owens confirmed that Tyler Robinson's parents think he did it, because that's just not true. And it's not, you guys. We all know, all of us here who have been paying attention to what Candace Owens is saying, we all know that Candace doesn't believe that Tyler Robinson's parents think that he did it. So as he was going, I was like, don't say Candace. Don't say Candace. And then he said Candace, and I was just like, oh, Gary. Gary, no. But okay. So what I was referring to there is that Jack Posobiec, I still don't even know if I'm pronouncing his name right. Jack Posobiec challenged anybody to talk to Tyler Robinson's parents. That's what he's doing in that post on X. Brandy and Billy came out and said that they did. And that's where Tyler Robinson's family thinks that they do not think that he did it. But as we were discussing how Candace Owens does not believe that Robinson's parents think that he did it, we got a text message. We got a text message thread photo from Brandy herself communicating with Blake Bednarz, who was watching the stream, about her testimony from the family member. And then we bring that up here as a part of the conversation. And I want to show you that part. This is a direct text from Brandy herself explaining exactly what happened at UVU, or I'm sorry, in the courtroom that day with Tyler's family that was there. Take a listen. So this is a text message from Blake Bednarz, who's watching the stream. He's watching the stream here. And I don't know if Brandy and Billy are either, but this is the text message. And I don't know if you guys can read that, but ultimately the question that's being posed to them is, did y'all hear from Tyler Robinson's parents say that they don't believe Tyler did it? Or what was it exactly when y'all were sitting in the courtroom? Brandy responds and says, we were sitting in the courtroom. A family member briefly spoke to us and told us that only 2% of what you hear in the media is true about Tyler, and they don't think he was capable of doing something like this. And then the clarifying question, was that family member sitting with Tyler's parents? And Brandy responds with, yeah, but we can't reveal who it was for their privacy. And the response was, of course, just fair to assume the same belief is shared by all of those family members. And then the answer to that was, yeah, I would say so, according to what Brandy said there. That's the next message. Okay. So that is from Brandy herself describing who they were talking to. And she cannot disclose which exact family member that she was talking to, but there was a group of Tyler Robinson's family sitting there. And the whole point of this, I specifically said the parents, and Gary could get me on that point. However, the whole point, the whole general picture is that the family that was sitting there, which included Tyler Robinson's parents, do not believe in the narrative that we are being told. Okay. So that's what we can take. And the reason that is important is because that puts into doubt the charging documents, which is the only thing that we have regarding what the state has at this point. Could more evidence come out in trial? Yes. And we certainly hope that it does, because again, nothing in the charging.
See, this is, Gary's nitpicking, saying, well, it's not true because there are some problems with with your details. Well, no, it is true. But as Zach is saying, he's not trying to nitpick. He's not just trying to, well, see, I'm right, you're wrong, who's right, who's wrong. That's not what for Gary, that's what this is about. But for Zach, that's not what this is about. It's about, well, if that's true, if Tyler Robinson's parents don't believe he did it, what is being said in the charging documents is false. I mean, this we'll see later, particularly with Lisa. What you believe that they're lying in the charging documents? They would never do that.
Documents puts Tyler Robinson specifically on that roof. If you guys actually read the charging documents, this is very important. The charging documents say that they have the video footage of that individual in black going up the roof, climbing over the fence, army crawling to the spot, and then it goes dark. There's no video of the actual shot taking place. And then they have the video that we've all seen of the individual running across the roof after. What proves from that video that that's Tyler Robinson? Well, I say nothing. What are they saying proves it is that they have the still shots from him walking up the stairwell, the individual dressed in black, who they claim is Tyler Robinson, based on the fact that his parents think that looks like him. And according to the charging documents, based on that photo that was provided, the mom and dad talk to each other. They say, oh, that looks like Tyler. Let's give him a call. And then the whole thing turns out where they get in touch with the local sheriff. They bring him in, blah, blah, blah. That is critically important because what this whole situation does right here with these text messages that Brandy shared and their testimony from the courtroom in talking with Tyler's family that day, that puts into doubt the charging documents. That is relevant. It's simply relevant. And my whole freaking point with this whole thing is that there is reasonable doubt. You can be a reasonable person and doubt the narrative that we are being told about Tyler Robinson. That's it. That is it. Like, am I trying to get Tyler Robinson off? No. Tyler Robinson is guilty of doing something that day. I mean, he was there, right? Doing something. Does that prove that Tyler Robinson took the shot from that location? No. And then the last important, because I want to show you Brandy's statement. So Brandy saw this debate and then she put a statement out on X, which I want to take you through and I want to show you that. There is no DNA evidence of Tyler Robinson on that roof. The only piece of evidence that they say included that had Tyler Robinson's DNA on it was the screwdriver. The screwdriver is not a part of the charging documents, you guys. It's not. There is no piece of evidence that we have been presented with that puts Tyler Robinson and his DNA on that roof. The only two things that we have been told about it is the video of the individual in black that they say is Tyler Robinson. And then the alleged screwdriver, which is hearsay. That's hearsay. So again, the justification of there being reasonable doubt that Tyler Robinson was the individual on that roof is certainly reasonable. Okay. Now I want to bring up Brandy's statement because she put this out on X, I think probably during the debate while this was going on. And she wanted to clarify. Since there's a debate going on, that was the one that it's between me and Gary. Debate, conversation, discussion, whatever you want to call it. We got to be technical on our words here, guys. And you'll see why that's a joke here in a second with this next part that I have. But in any case, there's a debate going on about our conversation with Tyler's family. And I will let everyone know exactly what I shared with Baron Coleman and Blake Bednarz. We've spoken directly to a family member of Tyler Robinson and a family member of Lance Twiggs. We sat right behind Tyler Robinson's family at the January 16th, February 3rd, and March 13th court hearing. One of Tyler Robinson's family members, we're not naming who, told us this. About 2% of what you hear in the media about Tyler is true, but his family refuses to talk to the press because everything gets misconstrued. They also said that Tyler is not capable of doing something like this. Okay. And then the last thing that it says here is, let me get to that part. Here we go. A family member of Lance, who has also spoken with Candace Owens, told us the story about Lance cooperating with the feds is not true. The feds surrounded the condo, detained him, and questioned him for hours. So he was not cooperating like the feds said. So that's saying right there that the narrative that Lance Twiggs cooperated with the feds is not true. He was not cooperating with the feds, as they said. The woman who is a member of Lance's family that Brian Eaton interviewed is more like a distant relative who has met Lance a total of 3 times, and hasn't seen him in over a decade. Lance's family says they're very disappointed by the interview and believe it was done for attention. Lance's family does not believe that they were both, sorry guys, it's kind of far away. I'm reading it on the presentation screen. I probably could have made it bigger before I started reading it, but Lance's family does believe that they both were involved in some way, but they don't believe they knew what they were getting themselves into. They think Tyler and Lance have been told to do specific things that day, and that they might need Lance's cooperation for whatever case they are building. And right now, Lance won't speak to anyone in his family about the entire situation. I mean, look, this is a big deal. I mean, because what this puts into doubt is the charging documents, which is the only evidence that we have been given that shows that Tyler Robinson is the guilty party in this assassination against Charlie Kirk. That's it. So
yeah, there's and what I'm not understanding. So there's, I forget what his name is, Melton guy or something, the friend of the family who had been in the Boy Scouts, or how he had known Tyler Robinson, who was the one who, negotiated and said, well, you've got to turn yourself in, and told Tyler Robinson. Now, why did he believe that Tyler Robinson did it? What was it? What evidence did he have? Where did the evidence come from? Why would he have believed that? Because that's where the accusation that Tyler Robinson did this came from that man. Or at least, if the police think that you did it, you've got to turn yourself in. Why did he think the police thought that Tyler Robbins had done it? Why was he negotiating? What's going on there? I mean, that's something that really nobody's asking. And I think that's like crucial.
And I'll repeat it again for maybe the 100th time. There is certainly reason to doubt the narrative that we are being told. Okay? Now, this is, first of all, I guess before I move on, I want to thank Brandy for the information that she was provided here based on my conversation there with Gary. That's great stuff. Brandy and Billy, we all follow each other on X, and I appreciate the work you guys are doing, and keep it up. I'll be paying attention to more of this as it continues to unfold, as the trial continues to unfold. But this is all good stuff. I mean, this is great. This is great reporting right here. And it's very important reporting in the pursuit of truth. And it holds the authorities accountable for telling us what the truth actually is. So thank you guys very much. And I'll thank Blake Bednars too for watching the stream and for providing the information to help Gary and I out as we were going back and forth on this issue to find out what the truth about what that part of all of this is relating to Tyler's parents and what they think about this whole thing, which puts into doubt the charging documents. That's why this is important. Okay. Then, and this is probably one of the moments where I got maybe the most frustrated, and made a comment that I felt like I was back talking to Andrew Wilson, or Andrew Wilson and we couldn't get past the definition of the word decoy. Like this is a very similar moment to that, except in this part of the conversation with Gary, I really feel like I got him here. And this is where I feel like I exposed some pretty bad hypocrisy from the other side. I simply asked him to agree with me that Erica got caught lying about her dating history. And I want you to take a listen to how he answers this. Watch. Can I at least can you at least just clarify? I need to know this from you. I need to know this from you. When Erica Kirk on CBS with Barry Weiss responding to the young girl asking about dating in New York City, when Erica Kirk says, when I lived here for 5 years, and I'm paraphrasing, but in the 5 years leading up to Charlie, I did not date here, which people say she did not date in New York City because she was being the type of person not engaging in the New York City drinking scene. She said she did not drink during this time frame. Okay. When she says that, yet she also then goes on a 2018 show, Bravo, and is drinking at a New York City bar on a date with an individual, whether the fact that it's on a reality show or not, she is on a date in New York City drinking alcohol. Would you say that that is being honest to the girl that she is answering right there?
I would say that what you're trying to do, if
I'm not trying to do anything, I'm just asking you straight up if you think it's a lie or not. Because what I can't get to is just to get your side to admit like this as a reality at all, and it's extremely frustrating for me. Like, just take this single point and just tell me, is that an honest answer to the question or not?
Okay, so first of all, hold on. If she is on a reality show and they happen to be drinking in that reality show, is that participating in the New York drinking scene?
She's sitting from a stall and drinking alcohol down her throat. So she's literally drinking alcohol like that. Yes.
If you want to take, I'm going to give this the stage. If you want to take it by the most literal sense and not her past perception of, or understanding the perception of the question, it's like, there's people that are part of a drinking scene that go out and drink every single night.
Yes.
And then if you say, hey, Gary, like, I could even stop drinking. And like, hey, did you, like, most of my time in New York, I didn't participate in the drinking scene, didn't drink at all. But yeah, that's one time where I had a drink.
If you're hanging out with the whole reality scene people, that's all they do is party. I mean, this is they're following the lead of the preppy and yuppies. This is the golden age that Reaganomics trickled down, into a third world catastrophe, that's what they do. And that's what my Lord, that's all anybody does in Washington. Party hardy, party hardy.
On a reality show for work, I guess I'm participating in the drink scene and everything I said is a lie. I mean, that's ridiculous. That's not even a reasonable statement. If she's saying, hey, I didn't date in New York, was any of her boyfriends from New York?
Yes.
The boyfriend or the date that she went on, yes, was in New York.
Okay. But there's not even that. It's Cabot Phillips. She was dating him before she started dating Charlie, and they were even friends. Cabot Phillips and Charlie when they were dating. So, the one she was with in New York was Cabot Phillips, the guy with the pizza on his lip. Nobody seems to be like, this is nothing. Reality show date, I would be like, well, yeah. if that's all you got on her, I would say, yeah, she's not dating much. If that's all you got. But no, there's Cabot Phillips with the Pizzagate stuff. That's a detail that nobody seems to be really going ding ding.
Okay. I don't know the guy's name. Okay. So I'm making myself laugh listening to this again, because I'm just asking him to admit, and this is after I explained to him exactly what happened. And this is what I'm referring to, guys. And then I'll get to the back half of what Gary ends up getting at. But this is what I'm referring to. I put this post up. It got the thread on this. I put up an original post, and then the thread on this got millions of views on X. But I said, for you Erica Kirk defenders claiming that she was only talking about New York City dating, explain to me, like I'm 5, the location of the Bravo 2018 season 3 of Summer House. I said, hint, it was a date on a New York City rooftop bar, and she even had drinks, which she said, that she did not do. Okay, and then it goes into, I'm reposting there. Erica Kirk blatantly lied about dating in the 5 years before Charlie Kirk. Can anyone so adamantly defending Erica say why? Like, we wouldn't have even cared if she dated leading up to Charlie. We care now because she lied about it. Then this says here, Erica Franzve publicly claimed that she did not date in the 5 years leading up to her meeting with Charlie Kirk. And then they say, and that's what I shared above, she was only talking about New York City. And then I literally cite the 2018 Jordan Veroy, or however you pronounce his name, in the summer of 2018, just before meeting Charlie, appeared on season 3 of Bravo Reality's Summer House. During the show, she went on a date with a cast member, Jordan Veroy, who described her as beautiful and religious. And she is literally drinking alcohol in that. So what happened is the reason that she got caught in this lie is because she went on the CBS interview with Barry Weiss, and she was asked a question by a young girl about New York City dating. And Erica misrepresented herself by telling the girl that she did not engage in the New York City dating scene because she was not doing that because she was trying to represent herself as a pious Christian waiting for her husband, like waiting. She literally said to the girl, if you want to attract a good Christian man, you then need to become someone who is worthy, I guess you can say, of attracting said man. And if you're out engaging in the New York City dating scene and drinking, you are therefore not doing that. So,
see,
and here's the thing about that interview, which you're
lying there is just a consequence of, all of this branding. Oh, yeah, the public relations, you got to do branding. Well, but what you're telling me to say about myself is not true. Oh, it doesn't matter. It just sounds good. I mean, this is all the time. I get it all the time. I'm like, you do realize, like, that's not embellishing. That's lying. Well, there's a gray area. I mean, it's out of control.
About to see, and this is where I get super frustrated with Gary. These were pre-planned questions that she received from CBS prior to her going on that interview. She had time to plan what she was going to answer, and she still chose to answer it that way. This is where I start to get pretty frustrated with Gary. Here's the last part of that clip.
Have you ever dated in New York City? She wasn't asked, have you ever drank? No, she said, I don't participate in that scene.
First, he's misrepresenting the question. Of course she wasn't asked that. She was not asked, did you ever? That's not what she was asked. She wasn't asked anything about her New York City dating scene. She surrendered the information herself. The question that she received from the young girl on CBS had nothing to do with the New York, with Erica's dating past. She surrendered that herself. It had nothing to do with Erica's past or her dating or her drinking in New York City. Erica decided to divulge that information herself. Let's continue.
That can absolutely.
She said in the 5 years leading up to Charlie, she did not.
Andrew asked you, do you watch porn? And you say, if you would say no.
What was my answer? Did I misrepresent myself? Did I misrepresent myself in that conversation?
Yes, because you were prepared for it. But if I just in the middle of it.
I was not prepared for Andrew to ask me if I've ever watched porn. I was never prepared for that question.
You were like, and I would be too, by the way. I would be too.
100%. Gary,
I don't
Erica received the questions for that interview beforehand. She literally thought about her answer beforehand and literally said a false statement. That makes it even worse. Me and Andrew, you and I, were having a live conversation with, I have a notebook here of notes. Like literally, there's nobody else in this room. You and I can answer these questions. We're not prepared for this. She literally, these were pre-planned questions, and she came up with that answer to that individual. Okay. Like, holy crap! Like, it's just all that example proves is just what I feel as though our side gets accused of being evil. My Christian faith is called out for these doubts and questions that I have with regard to the Charlie Kirk investigation. and criticism of Turning Point USA and Erica Kirk. But when it all comes down to it, when I ask you a simple question as to whether or not that she answered that question honestly, and this is just one small example, the answer is always some form of spin. Like, it's just like, I'm going to spin. There's a reason she answered this way. Or it's just like, my goodness, like and it's like, you guys accuse us of not operating in good faith. And I feel like the favor is returned on the other side. Yeah. I mean, need I say more? I mean, this is the whole thing. And this is a great example of what my frustration is with all of this. Like, they're so demanding of the evidence, of the precise the precise use of these terms and semantics. Yet when you turn around and just ask them, like, hey man, like, is this honest? Was this a lie? It's always there's always some spin or some explanation on it. You know, and then where I felt like I was.
See, this is precisely the gaslighting tactic to nitpick over every single word that you've said to detract your attention away from the real subject matter and get you all tangled up and until, you know, you're like, oh God, just get the fuck away from me. You crazy idiot. That's the tactic. You just give up because it's like you're all over the freaking map and this doesn't make any sense. And it's like, wait a second, just let's go back to what the you know, the real subject matter is. But, you know, no, we'll see with, oh Lord, it gets really good with DDGotaPodcast.
Was then back in the conversation with Andrew Wilson is that Gary's producer then puts up on the screen like what the definition of lying is and how many times the average person lies per day. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, like, okay, look, I get it. Guys, we've all told lies before. But when a public figure doing a public media tour then gets caught blatantly lying, especially an individual who just took over a very powerful political organization, do we not call it out? Do we not spend a lot of our time, or at least don't I, here on this platform, calling out the lives of the various politicians and public or cultural figures that have an impact on the world like I do? So when I see that, I'm going to call it out and say something. And all of
But, you know, the thing is I want to point out one thing with Zach is, you know, he's the public figures, the politicians who have an impact on the world. I mean, quite frankly, some of them don't have as much impact as one would think. And most of them are just puppets.
Of us who have even just a shred of just basic line common sense can just see and understand all of these things. It's like, my gosh, my goodness. No, I'm not asking you to give me what the definition of lying is, or I'm not trying to get caught up here in how many times I've ever told a lie. Guess what, guys? I've not been perfect in my past. You heard him there. Andrew Wilson said that, like, that's what the example that he's trying to use there. Have you ever watched pornography? Oh, well, in my younger years, when I wasn't the best version of myself, like, yes, guys, I've sinned before. I've not been perfect. I've also told lies. If I'm confronted about these things and asked, especially in a public,
oh my goodness, some man who says to me, no, I've never looked at any pornography, I'm going to be like, either you're lying to me or I'm concerned. I mean, it's completely normal. One of the points, I forget, one of the men was like, you know, when he was growing up, it was like, oh yeah, somebody's older brother or dad had a Playboy that was like 10 years old or something and got passed around to everybody. And that's how boys, you know, were exploring, going, oh, look at how the curves of women. I mean, it is normal that adolescent boys are, you know, curious. They're going to be looking at girls and looking at photos of girls before they're actually touching them. I mean, you know, it's just because there's a difference between this kind of behavior and some kind of pathology of pornography. And again, this is, going to the extremes. But
media appearance that was planned before, you just got to be honest. You just got to be honest. We're not looking for perfection. And I said this, we're not looking for perfection. We're just looking for authenticity. And when individuals lie, there is a reason for the lying. They're misrepresenting. They're covering something up. So the reason that we have this, and I was trying to explain this to Gary, the reason that people have grown more skeptical, or have started to ask more questions about Erica Kirk is because of the dishonesty, is because of the lies. It's really not that complicated. It's really just not that complicated. All right, let me get to some of your guys' comments here. I wanted to bring this up because I thought it was a good one. Gary was on the something isn't right boat at the beginning. Then a couple months in, he started accusing Candace of grifting. His channel was all about hiring himself out for gun training. I will say this, and I said this to Gary, like I was following his stuff early on. I thought it was very good. Go back and look at all the initial like ballistic stuff. Gary was a doubter in the 30-06 narrative because of the wound that we saw. So he was putting together different theories. I mean, body armor was the one at the time of what happened to Charlie. I mean, he went to UVU, and as I told him to his face, like some of his early work helped me clear up some things. Like the accusation that the footage of the guy running off the roof was AI because you saw someone in the lower right corner of the video disappear. And he helpfully explained that there's a path there that drops off. And he actually showed how you can disappear from that angle. Good stuff. Really good stuff. Look, I had one of the very, very good episodes that I watched of Gary. He had the ex-FBI agent and now whistleblower, Kyle Seraphin, on his show. And they explained how the FBI was looking into foreign ties and into covert influence as it related to whoever the assassin was. And I thought that was really good and interesting information. But yes, Gary was a skeptic and the something isn't right boat. He was there. I said to him, like, he caught the Candace 19 and now all his channel is, and now all the content is his ex and everything else is just really just anti-Candace, just attacking Candace type stuff. And man, I just don't agree with that. Yeah. Nola Jen, thank you for the super chat. Happy Holy.
So what I wanted to get into, these two, because Lisa, I guess she has a certain following. I'm not sure how many followers she has, but she's coming on often to Gary's platform, and she and Jen, the producer, we don't really know who she is, who's somebody else. There are a couple of women who have come on there, but this Lisa girl, I mean, thank you, Dee, for this. You did a real good job.
Number one, in all honesty, I'm always a little baffled when it comes to this Charlie Kirk investigation. When a person takes the position that they believe what we've been told, or they sort of allude to the fact that they believe what we've been told, when from my perspective, there's so many gaping holes in this investigation. And when I spend about 90% of my videos over the past 6 months have been about the Charlie Kirk investigation, it's not because I cared so much or that I care so much about Charlie Kirk. It's because I believe the implications are a lot greater and a lot bigger than Charlie Kirk, right? I believe it was potentially tied to other things that was going on behind the scenes. And if you've been here, you know, we've been through all the weeds over the past 6 months. But if I'm being honest, another reason this is important is because, and this is just, showing some humility, maybe the people on the other side are right. Maybe they've seen something, maybe they've heard something that I quite do not understand, or I haven't heard just yet. And typically how human nature works, we tend to find ourselves around people that believes in things the way that we do, or we find ourselves maybe even subconsciously searching for somebody that agrees with us, right? And so from my position, I would like to do that, especially when a person is always open to a discussion or a debate. This may turn into a debate. And the last debate or discussion we had on this channel was with the TPUSA pastor, John Amenchukwu, or one of the pastors on the payroll of TPUSA. And that didn't turn out too well for him, as many of you all already know. Still respect him and his politics, but on this topic, we vastly disagree. And so in this particular case, I'm going to have a guest to come on, and she's been going back and forth with a couple of people, Baron Coleman. I know she's been attacking Candace, and she's pretty passionate from her position. And so with that, I'm going to bring her onto the platform, and we'll jump right into the discussion.
Hello.
Do you go by Lisa?
Yes.
Okay, Lisa. I'm Demetrius. Feel free to call me Demetrius or Dee or D, whichever works better for you. I'm totally fine with that. And yeah, I'm gonna just jump right into it so that we're not wasting people's time, so that I don't misrepresent you. Lisa, do you mind well, I guess the easy ways. I'll ask you this question. Do you believe that Tyler Robinson was the person to take out Charlie Kirk?
Yes.
Okay. This is going to be great. This is going to be very great. I am going to sort of, if it's all right with you, Lisa, I'm going to sort of give an opening statement before we hop right into it. Is that okay?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, perfect. So if this was a court and we were two attorneys, just let me know if you disagree with this, but I would by default be the defense attorney and you will be the prosecution. That's to say, you are looking to prosecute Tyler Robinson and I will be looking to defend Tyler Robinson to some extent. And I only say by some extent because I'm not saying that Tyler Robinson is totally innocent, but the very things that we were told about Tyler Robinson, I do not buy it. But if we are going to treat this like a court session, then if we were two attorneys and I was to see you in the hallway, so off the record, I would literally say to you, I believe Charlie Kirk, or the Charlie Kirk event, which is the way I refer to it, was a Freemasonic ritual. But again, that's off the record. I understand that it's not something you can walk into a courtroom and sort of present as your argument or your defense. I understand that. But that is what I would say to you off the record. And it's pretty obvious to me that it was a Freemasonic ritual, but that's a conversation for another day. On the record, I would say this.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, oh, he needs to become a lawyer. And he's right. You can, because people are like, well, you should go into this, you can go into that. In a court of law, there are certain things that have to do with it, but it's like, you're not going to win any points with judges if you can convolute this thing. You want to keep it pretty much to the subject of, presumption of innocence and reasonable doubt.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, this case is not about headlines. It's not about speculation. And it's not even about what anyone thinks may have happened. It's about one thing and one thing only. Whether the government can prove, or Lisa in this particular case, can prove beyond a reasonable doubt that my client, Tyler Robinson, committed the crime he is accused of. That is the highest burden in our justice system. And it exists for a reason. Because when the stakes are this high, guesses, assumptions, and incomplete stories are not enough. Over the course of this video or this trial, you are going to hear a lot from Ms. Lisa. But when you listen closely, you will notice something important. Gaps. Gaps in the timeline, gaps in the physical evidence, gaps in the identification of the person responsible. You will see that key pieces of evidence are either missing, unclear, or open to more than one interpretation. You will hear that certain conclusions were reached before all the facts were fully examined. And you will learn that alternative possibilities were not thoroughly ruled out. I mean, she may, point to some evidence, but you will have to ask yourself, does it conclusively prove who actually committed this act? Or does it simply raise more questions, like all the questions that we've had? Because in a courtroom, questions matter. And if at the end of this case, you are left with the reasonable questions about what happened, about who is responsible, about whether the evidence truly adds up, then the law requires only one verdict, not guilty. Tyler Robinson does not have to prove anything to anybody. He does not have to explain anything away. The burden never shifts to him. It stays at all times with the government. And if they cannot meet that burden, if they cannot eliminate reasonable doubt, then your duty is clear. At the end of this video or at the end of this trial, we are confident that you will see the evidence does not meet that standard. And when you do, we ask that you return the only verdict that the law allows, not guilty. So with that, I would like to start off with
this is really, really important what Dee Dee's getting into here. Because it is simply not the case. It's not the case in a court of law. The presumption of innocence and the burden of proof of the accuser to prove guilt of the accused rather than the accused to prove his innocence. You know, it's too easy to, oh, this person did something, haul them in, oh, they're guilty. They're in prison, of course they're guilty. No, they gave themselves up because they were going to come in, you know, with the whole SWAT team.
The question, what is it that has made you so definitively convinced that Tyler Robinson did this?
It's the only thing that makes sense. It's the only thing that we have no substantial evidence to support any of the other theories that have been put out there. Over the last 6 months, it's been a consistent, steamroll of information that's being put out. I'm not going to sit here and cosplay a trial. We're not lawyers. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer, unless you have a legal degree that I don't know about. But at the end of the day,
I mean, that is just, I mean, that gets me fit to be tied. You're not a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. You know, little girl, I've been doing this for 20 years, working globally. And one of the biggest problems is we can't find any freaking lawyers who know what the frick they're doing. And this is one of the reasons why the legal profession and the legal systems are a joke.
As someone who debates topics, I kind of think that this is ridiculous, but also I'm not feeling the greatest, so I'm not in the best mood. I'm just going to admit that to you right now. This is not my best self. At the end of the day, unless you have something...
This is not my best self. I mean, this woman just lacks professionalism from start to finish.
To present that is substantial, to tell us that we can go in another direction outside of time.
And I mean, she's aggressive and how shall I say? It's not just aggressiveness. It's, this on the defensive.
Tyler Robinson, what the state has provided in that charging document, you cannot put something on a charging document that doesn't exist. You cannot hold a man behind.
I mean, this one, I mean, this little girl, I want to see her court on this issue, because as I say, I've been doing this for 20 years, and this gets into when it first started my case. A lot of what my case is based on is, all sorts of things were falsified, false testimonies. I mean, the whole thing was a farce. It was, I was shocked. I was like, wait a second. My ex-husband, he didn't even pretend. There was not even any, it was, white out and just written in on financial statements, on bank account statements. I mean, I was flabbergasted. I wasn't so flabbergasted that he would do that. More, I was flabbergasted that his lawyer would introduce that as into court documents. And the testimonies, the defamatory testimonies, that I could turn around and sue these people. So this whole thing of it's in court documents, therefore it's true. I mean, right then and there, she's starting off bad.
Behind bars just for shits and giggles. That's not how this works. At the end of the day, there's a very real system here and a real process that has been working in this country for hundreds of years. Is it perfect? No. But
no, see, this is, again, she knows, have no idea what she's talking about. First off, it's had problems from day one. And then, there's a lot of different things at play here, but it is, when we had the war on drugs, produced the same thing as prohibition, and that's why nobody's been able to get rid of it, even though it's wasted all of this money. There's political advantages.
Typically, most of the time, it works the way that it should.
No,
unless
it doesn't.
You can get, like you said, enough reasonable doubt And then you get a Casey Anthony.
We are in the international criminal courts, little girl, under crimes against humanity. This is, I just keep on gathering evidence, even though I've got all sorts of evidence on my website. She's more than welcome to go and look at it. I would be more than happy to discuss everything. And we do have a filing with the International Criminal Courts that everything here is going to be presented as evidence of bullshit. This is propaganda.
Or you get an O.J. Simpson. And is that truly what you want to happen in this situation? That if this man truly pulled the trigger and you're wrong, are you okay with him being able to walk?
Get an O.J. Simpson. Excuse me. O.J. Simpson, I think it's his son who did it. I mean, there's still, exactly, you get another JFK, you get another O.J. Simpson. We need to clean up the courts.
Because
of the circus that has been created online.
No, but let me address something. You said that it's not fair because we're not actual attorneys. Well, Lisa, the reason why I started off the way that I did is because the man is actually on trial for real. It's not like we're just saying somebody
Absolutely,
that they haven't arrested.
But what expertise do you have in the legal system?
None.
Have you taken a single law class?
Nope.
Nope, me neither. I'm not going to sit here and try to be...
Okay, so I have. So I'm going to give Lisa a little legal 101. And I do invite her or any other lawyer out there. We can go all over all of the different things that I have argued, the cases here in Washington under labor rights violations, housing rights violations, the stuff in the international courts. We can go over the whole kit and caboodle. I examined everything from the common law perspective. This goes back to the origins of the civil codes. I get, Magna Carta. We can go anywhere she wants. Now, but just basic, my training in law, I had one course in commercial law, and it was contract law. So that was my basis of that. But with that, that's more than enough. So it was basically contracts, writs, torts. And really, if you learn those things, it was a very good course. It was kind of the same thing as the international econ class that I was told to drop because even the econ majors failed it at least once. I got a 98 in the course and turned around and taught it to my classmates who all passed the final with flying colors. Everybody is making all of these things much more complicated than it is. If we really want to get into complex discussion and, contract, writ, torts, the Constitution, what constitutions are based on, the religious context of, the Bible, because the Western system it is, or we could get into, the Magna Carta, the secular stuff, the human rights conventions that were produced after World War II, and, like the Nuremberg trials too. So there's, if she wants to have a discussion there, but see, this is not rocket science. And that she's trying to sit there and negate, belittle DD from the beginning is just gaslighting 101.
He's something that I'm not. At the end of the day, I am not a legal expert. If you want to talk to a legal expert, you need to get Andrea Burkhart or somebody like that on your show.
The problem is, Lisa, you don't actually care if somebody's a legal expert.
What do you have after 6 months of this rigmarole that we've had online? What do you have to substantiate that there is another finger that we can point somewhere outside of Tyler Robinson?
Got you. All right. So, Lisa, again, you don't actually care if somebody is a legal expert or not, because you're actually arguing with attorneys that take the position that I'm taking. So you don't actually care about that. So don't pretend that you do.
Second of all, that's not what I said. I said, I'm not going to sit here and pretend that I am a legal expert or have any legal
but somebody with
that I do not have, and you should not be doing so either.
That's fair. But what I'm saying to you is,
no, that's not fair. She can, obviously she doesn't have qualifications to be opining on legal principles because, yeah, she doesn't have any kind of background in it, either, from some accredited university or on her own, which would be just as legitimate either way. But that doesn't mean just because she doesn't understand these principles, that gives her no right to say that Didi doesn't understand them because he doesn't have a diploma from a law school? Who the frick does she think she is? Bullshit.
People that are, you also have a problem with their position.
I do, because even with the law, there's obviously different opinions, but Baron Coleman is not connected to this case in any way, shape, or form, and he's also financially benefiting off of this narrative that he's spinning. So
Wait a second. Okay, so then she jumps to Baron Coleman. He's not connected to this case in any way, shape, or form. I mean, he's the one who's jumped in the most and participated and everything. And he does have a law degree. And actually, I'm like, the guy, he's got an overinflated ego, but he does understand something about the law. This is a refreshing thing amongst lawyers. The girl's an idiot.
No, I'm not going to take someone who's financially benefiting and is in Candace Owens' pocket.
Okay.
He's in Candace Owens' pocket? No, because actually, I mean, not at all. Not at all. He, I mean, I call it the Marilyn Monroe phenomena of the men who are, yeah, Candace, she's a pretty face, and, I get it. And, oh, Candace, she's a celebrity. Actually, he was like, oh, when I actually met her, I realized that, like, come on, Baron Coleman, you say you're around politicians all the time. Don't you know, like, all of it is a bunch of, pomp and circumstance? And as I say, Candace, she's a pretty girl, and she's relatively diligent in her work. I mean, I have, seen some things and even sent her some emails saying, well, here, you're mistaken there, or you're missing this. But, and, I mean, she's rude. She doesn't even, and my big things with Candace is that I have contacted her several times in the past years about my work on feminism, my research, and trying to clean up the courts. I mean, if women don't start working together, I mean, everybody wants to have it all and be the center of attention and, get involved in the mommy wars. And in the meantime, the world's going to shit.
I can't argue with that because I don't know if that's true. That may be true. I don't know.
He literally said on his podcast last night that he was on the phone with her. So what do you think? She plays his clips on her show. It's very clear that they are in cahoots with one another.
Got you. So do you find it a bit suspicious that people have foreknowledge about
in cahoots? They communicate. See, this is where it's like, that's why it's like, oh, so you're in cahoots with Gary Melton. That's how she sees things. You can't collaborate. You're in cahoots.
What happened to Charlie? Let's start there.
Where is the proof that somebody had foreknowledge outside of Tyler Robinson and Lance Twiggs?
Okay. This here. What is this man talking about here? How would he know this? Why would he say this?
What are we pointing at here? Explain this. I've never even seen this before.
Okay, so this is Harrison Smith. He works with A. Jones. I can't say his name on YouTube, but from what is it called? InfoWars. A month before, or a couple of months before, Harrison Smith tweets this. To this day, he won't tell us who told him this. Who was the person around Charlie Kirk that said this to him? Not to mention, it's been said multiple times. I'm going to try not to do the hearsay.
He says, I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks Israel will kill him if he turns against them. Okay? This is the whole anonymous source thing that is absolute garbage. Again, if you're not willing to go on record and show your face, and you're saying that you have information that is going to get Charlie Kirk killed in a couple of months, or at this point, this was posted on, was this August 25th?
I'm sorry, hold on. Let me move the banner. This was August 13th.
So August 13th. So you have evidence that Charlie Kirk is potentially going to be killed in a matter of, what was that, 3 weeks? In 3 weeks, Charlie Kirk is going to be killed, and you're not going to go on record or like do anything to try to help this situation other than put out some like anonymous random slop on the internet with no backing and no proof of anything. This is not proof.
Lisa, you're sounding like us. Welcome to our side. This is the same question that we're asking. The words that you just spewed didn't actually do anything to help your case. These are the things that we're saying. This is a real tweet. That's what matters. Tyler Robinson
does not matter.
Do what?
This tweet does not matter. Again, this is an anonymous source of, I was told by somebody that knows Charlie Kirk that this thing is going to happen.
You got to be better than this. Like, we just read a tweet a month before. I would understand if you say the tweet isn't real. I'm with you on that. I'm showing you a real tweet and you're saying I don't care about it.
To Charlie Kirk? Does he know him personally?
Yes, he does.
Did he hear this information from him himself?
The answer is yes.
No, he didn't. That's not what he's saying right here.
No. The question you just asked was, does he know Charlie Kirk?
He literally says, I'm not going to name names.
Lisa, the question you asked me was,
if you have a real belief that Charlie is about to be killed in a short period of time, why are you not going to name names?
Lisa, you've already asked that question. Lisa, you've already asked that question. I have the same question. That's not helping you. Listen to what I just said to you. Listening is a virtue. This is a real tweet. This is a problem. Right. You asked, does he know Charlie Kirk? I'm telling you the answer is yes.
Great.
That's not the answer.
But we don't have a source.
Why does that even matter?
It absolutely
not for this conversation.
In the world of journalism and reporting, having a source that's willing to go on record when you're saying a man is about to lose his life and you take that claim seriously, you're going to go on the record. This whole, I'm not going to name names, but somebody told somebody that's a third cousin to Charlie Kirk that he's going to die is
Lisa,
absolutely
let's say,
absurd. And this is the ridiculousness that we've been dealing with.
Got you. All right. So, Lisa, let's say Harrison lied here. Let's say he lied.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is the source. Harrison doesn't have to say, you know, who it is. It's like this, everybody was saying Charlie Kirk was afraid that he was going to be, you know, before there are various reports. You don't have to always, well, who was it? It's like, well, this person received a tweet, this person heard this, that person heard that. You start, you know, getting various reports of the same thing that are hearsay. You want to start questioning, and then of course, you know, if you really want to get into a court of law, then you pull in, well, who told you this? Could we have to see the tweet? But that's how you start an investigation. That's what, you know, should be like, well, wait a second, what's going on here?
How was he able to put this out, make up a lie? He's a credible person. He's connected to these people. Charlie ends up deceased a month later. How?
Cool. So where's the tweet where he reveals this source then after Charlie was killed? And he's like, oh my God, I was correct. So-and-so told me. Here's the rest of the information that I never provided before. Where is it?
You're looking bad, Lisa. I'm just going to tell you this now.
Yeah. I mean, he's not trying to, oh, look, here's this person who told me this. He's just saying, no, you know, I was told by someone close to Charlie Kirk that Charlie thinks that he's, you know, this is like, she's like, he has to come out and say who it was and start pointing fingers for us to believe him. Otherwise, we're not going to believe him. Like, what? The girl is like crazy.
No, I'm not, bro. Again,
I mean, people have the right of freedom of speech, but they do have to have some kind of common sense and not total illogical, like, thinking that it's made to drive you freaking crazy and just drive you down rabbit holes all of the time in expressing their freedom of speech. They have to have some sort of how shall I say it? Yeah, human logic, you know.
Where's the follow-up from this?
He hasn't provided it. I'm with you. You and I agree on that.
Of course he hasn't.
But what does that mean, though? So
okay, well, she then can contact him and ask him if she wants to know who it is. She doesn't believe him for whatever reason. She thinks he's lying, whatever. she could contact them and say, "Excuse me, could you tell me who it was?" Did she do that? No. No, he's lying. Now he's lying.
Because he hasn't revealed it, that means what?
Charlie actually ends up taking a bullet to the neck, and he has not followed up.
Answer
not
the
even
question
to
I
say
asked
that
you.
he's
So
spoken to
listen.
police or law enforcement.
Got you.
And
I'm with you.
Don't find that suspicious.
I find that very suspicious. I agree. I'm totally with you. But my question to you is...
Yeah, I mean, if I knew somebody and a month before they were killed and shot, and there's some suspicious stuff going on there, I would start asking questions. Unless I was afraid. Unless, one, I didn't care. And I'm like, yeah, I'll forget it. And they took him out and I'm good at whatever, like, because I'm on the other team. And he was starting to talk about, some bad stuff about Israel and we don't want that. So either he's of that group and he's like, yeah, okay, I don't care. And so I'm not going to say anything. Or he doesn't want to say anything and start coming out and giving interviews and saying, yeah, so-and-so told me that Charlie Kirk was afraid he was going to be killed a month before because he's afraid he could be killed himself. But if instead of criticizing and saying he's a liar, she should contact him and find out.
Your thing was BS to begin with. I don't know.
That's a whole different conversation. Then we'll be on the same page. But that's a different conversation. What I'm telling you is the tweet is real. But here's my question to you. Let's say he lied. What would that mean, though?
Yeah.
It doesn't help your case because the man still actually passed away, right?
All that means is that he lied. And again, we don't have any follow-up saying that he spoke.
Why would he lie?
To law enforcement or he filed an official report or anything.
So
why, again, if you truly believe that Charlie is about to be killed, why would you not follow up by submitting a report with the correct authorities? And if you posted this 3 weeks prior and then he actually ends up dying, why would you not come back and say, oh my gosh, I was actually correct on this. I filed XYZ with the FBI or, law enforcement in Utah, or I made a report to the Utah police, or I don't know, anything.
So everybody in the chat is saying that he did go to the feds.
I don't care what the chat is saying.
I don't care what the chat is saying. Well, she's saying, why didn't he go to feds? Why didn't he report? Does she know that he didn't? She doesn't know. As I said, contact him. Say, hey, buddy, you tweeted this. What's going on here? Did you contact the feds? Did you contact the law enforcement? What did they say? Ask questions. Don't just make up stories because you want to gaslight everybody into believing some narrative.
Okay, well, fine.
Find the tweet.
This is what I can't tell you about Harrison. Harrison has been confronted about this. Candace went live on Twitter like a few months ago. He joined her live and we confronted him on live about it. It was like, bro, why won't you tell us who told you that?
I didn't see this. I haven't have to see.
But here's the problem, Lisa. It doesn't matter if he reveals it or not. I wish he would. It's very weird that he won't. It's very suspicious. But it doesn't change that he put it out. Tyler Robinson wasn't the person that told people that.
Tyler Robinson absolutely was telling people that.
No, he wasn't.
No, he's the Harrison is the guy he's talking about. Tyler Robinson, a month before Charlie Kirk was assassinated, I don't think you have any tweets of him saying, Charlie Kirk told me that he was afraid that he was going to be killed. I don't think anybody said that.
Wasn't the person to tell the people that was around Charlie Kirk.
Great.
Right. Okay.
I don't think that anybody told anything that was near Charlie Kirk. I think that the whole thing is just the same anti-Semitic trope that we've been seeing for 2 years now, since October 7th.
He just gave her somebody, this Harrison guy, that did say something before it. But then she goes back and says, well, nobody said anything before about Charlie Kirk getting assassinated, when all sorts of people said stuff.
Israel and the Jews are to blame for everything.
Got you. So Andrew Kovett, Charlie was under a lot of pressure. We know that for a fact.
No, we don't.
Do you have any opinion about why Andrew Kovett would not reveal the text message thread about Charlie Kirk being under pressure and deciding to leave the pro-Israel cause? Why do you think he wouldn't reveal that until Candace revealed it?
He said why he didn't want to release it publicly. Did you listen to his statements? Because he told you.
What do you think about that? Does that make sense to you?
Yes. When you're dealing with an investigation that is ongoing.
Let's be consistent. What we just said about Harrison Smith was, brother, you had information about something. Why aren't you going to reveal it? Same thing goes to Andrew Colvett.
You have Andrew Colvett saying, I went to a top-ranking government official who can get this into the hands of the people who are a part of this investigation, and I gave it to him in confidence to give it to who it needs to go to.
Lisa, why do you think he gave it to him?
That's way more than this random Harrison dude.
Got you. Hey, Lisa.
But wait a second. She doesn't know that Harrison didn't notify the authorities. And also, Colvett, he notified the authorities, and what was done with that? Joe Kent was told, we know Joe Kent was told not to investigate. We know that the FBI, Kash Patel, has been sitting on that whole thing. All he said is, I'll see you in Valhalla, brother. That's suspicious. I mean, this type of see, the thing is I really just think I don't think that she's being paid, that she's like, I just think she's a bimbo who's drinking and passing out Kool-Aid that's being given to her. She's been she's typical. I mean, I've been dealing with this in Washington now for 18 years since I've been back within all of the federal government agencies. These people who are completely incapable of logical, cognitive thinking. And it's from our goddamn educational systems, and it's much the private schools as the public schools. I mean, I want to see Foxcroft on court. I mean, what they're teaching these girls in schools and all of these kids. I mean, it's a miracle that we have anybody who comes out with a brain.
Here's a great question. Why do you think Andrew Colvett gave that to Joe Kent?
He told you why he did.
Why? Tell me. I want you to tell me.
Because he wanted them to have that for the investigation. He thought that was an important piece of information for them to look at.
Right. What about that text message thread was important? What was it that Charlie said that was important? That Andrew Colvett thought it was so important. Now, don't lose your tongue now. Why was it so important?
Again, he said that he wanted to give them everything that was available and look at every possible opportunity or stone that could be looked at.
Right. I'm not talking about all the other stones. Let's focus on this one stone. Why did he think that this text message thread was important to Charlie Kirk's assassination? Why?
We saw one snippet of the thread.
Lisa, right.
Candace Owens focused in on the portion that she wanted you to see. We don't know what else was in that thread.
Andrew Colvett, that's the only thing they shared.
He's never told us that.
No, Lisa, I'm asking you, why would Andrew Colvett give that to them? We both know the answer, you just don't want to say it.
You're trying to back me against the wall with a gotcha because of...
I want you to be honest.
Of the frustration that he was having with donors.
Yeah. Is that important?
Sure. To show that there were donors that had animosity towards him at that time. But that his response to it is not the issue. This isn't the gotcha that you think it is.
No, his response is partially the issue, but that he would be afraid of the donors is the issue. Now, whatever his response might have been, we want to look into, because did he take appropriate, he was afraid that his donors might turn on him, what actions did he take? But this is important. See, this little girl, I mean, Dee Dee, he chews her up and he spits her out. I mean, if this was like a boxing fight or something like that, he'd be dancing all around her going boom, 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 boom.
Bro, you can take that smirk off of your face.
You just admitted that Andrew Colvett thought a text message thread where he was complaining about his donors was so important that he sent it to the government so that they can investigate it. We both know what that means.
Great. And it was found to be a nothing burger. Wonderful. Can we move on now?
It wasn't. Joe Kent has not shut up about it. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Joe Kent resigned over a nothing burger. I mean, these little girls, they love to use that word, nothing burger. I'm like, excuse me, could you explain to me what a nothing burger is?
Joe Kent is talking about it right now today.
Yeah, Joe Kent is a psychopath, but okay.
What makes him a psychopath?
Joe Kent is a psychopath. I think this little kettle needs to look in the mirror.
He's been incredibly inconsistent. He's all over the place. He has done a complete 180 on like all of his views, along with.
Excuse me? See, this is, really, these people are opening themselves up to defamation cases. I mean, misinformation as well and propaganda on my side, but defamation of the people that they're speaking about.
Everybody else in this equation.
I'm waiting to hear where he's a psychopath. What about the things he's saying?
That's my opinion.
So,
right, and I heard that. So tell me why.
Yeah. I mean,
again,
a psychopath, either you're insulting the person because you're calling them a name, they're not really a psychopath, and you're calling them a name because that is does have a derogatory connotation in our society, which is supposed to be based on Christian values. So calling a person a psychopath, if you don't have actual proof, and you can give examples of their psychopathological behavior, then that is defamatory. So you can't throw that word out there. I mean, I'll say this person's a Nazi, this person's a psychopath, this person's a narcissist. They're an entitled narcissist, they're entitled psychopath, but I'll back up what I'm saying with concrete examples of and evidence of how their behavior shows that they're a psychopath. But if you throw that word, you got to be careful about throwing that word around when you don't have any proof.
Changed his entire perspective on this from front to back.
That's not making somebody a psychopath. If you are supporting Trump, then Trump then does something.
Shill, bought and paid, I don't know.
Bought and paid for by who?
Most people don't do a complete 180 on all of their views in a very short period of time unless there's incentive to do so.
What did he do a complete 180 on?
Supporting Trump, the Iran war, MAGA,
he supports Trump.
His entire political position.
No. Don't speed talk. Let's break this down.
Yeah.
He supports Trump today, currently.
Yeah.
What you just said is a lie. He said nothing but
he obviously is not, because he left his administration, meaning that he is severing himself from the administration because he no longer stands in support of the administration.
See, this is extremism, because you're all or nothing. If you leave, if you resign over some principles or something, no, you're a turncoat. It's either total loyalty or nothing at all. This is what is dangerous. And these type of ideas, again, I believe in freedom of speech, but see, she's being platformed, whereas I've been shut up for 20 years. And I mean, I've done my homework. And I mean, anybody who wants to get out there and start calling me a dumb bimbo, I mean, can we invite my sister on there first, and we can start with that one, and we'll show how ridiculous it really is, and we can go downhill from there. I think my favorite with my sister is that I wasn't popular. I didn't succeed at Foxcroft because I wasn't popular. I was like, oh God, please. I'm like, look, I wasn't trying to be popular, and I'm the smartest girl that school has ever had by far. And GW, I'm believing more and more that, like, I'm definitely amongst the top 100, and I think that pool is getting smaller and smaller and smaller by the day. We might be into a dozen there, because, oh, Lord, there's a lot of people that have done a lot of damage that have come out of GW.
Based off of the letter of resignation that he gave to the public, he is not standing with the Trump administration. Therefore, he is not standing with Trump himself. So no, that's not what he said.
Lisa, lies. He supports Trump. He does not support Trump's decision with the Iran war.
Yeah.
He's made this clear in the letter. He's made it clear in his interview.
You don't leave an entire administration based off that one thing.
That is a pretty big thing, girl. What are you talking about?
Thank you, Dee Dee.
That's a pretty big deal.
There have been multiple people that have worked in administrations that disagreed with certain decisions that the president has made.
Of that magnitude, and a lot of people don't have a spine or a backbone.
Great. Even Charlie Kirk himself did not agree.
Boots on the ground now. That's a pretty big deal.
Did not agree with the bombing that happened over last summer in June, I believe, right? But he said, at the end of the day, I defer to Trump because I know him as a person and I trust his judgment to lead this country. A man who is actually working in the administration should be able to do the same if he's a professional, and he's not a professional. And the way that he conducted himself in that letter was not ethical, nor was it professional. And so at the end of the day, he clearly does not support the administration. I don't know how you're going to sit here and say that he supports the administration when he left because of a disagreement with the administration.
Hey, Lisa, I read the letter. He was extremely respectful. Didn't say a single bad thing about Trump. Still has yet to say anything bad about Trump. What do you think about that?
Again, the letter, I get it. You can be respectful while still being unprofessional.
How was he unprofessional?
Okay, what does this have to do with Tyler
Because
Robinson
you're lying.
to pull the trigger? Like, what are we
You're
doing?
lying. Okay, fair enough.
She makes a statement that was unprofessional. Explain how it was unprofessional. Changes the subject. She doesn't answer his question.
This is a waste of time. I'm leaving in 30 minutes. So do you want to get to your point, or do you want to hash out why he left the administration that he carried?
This is typical gaslighting 101. Yeah. Oh, I gotta leave. You want to get to your point? Well, that's what he's been doing since the beginning.
Really doesn't
So
support.
Joe Kent was blocked from investigating further the Charlie Kirk investigation by Cash Patel's FBI. Why would they do that?
Because it's not his job.
That's not how it works. He's the director of the national.
No, that's not in his job description. He didn't stay in his own lane. So yeah, you're going to not have access to an investigation that's literally not.
Who told her that he didn't stay in his own lane? That was not his job. That was not in his job description. Who told her that? Where is she getting her information? Because no, that's, he had total authority to say, wait a second, we'll look at any kind of international ties, and he's told to stand down. What? I mean, the whole thing, you should be, anybody with any kind of brain would be like, why would you do that? Of course we want an investigation. We want to look at what's going on. We want to stop turning a blind eye. We want these people to start doing their jobs.
Under your job duties.
Yeah.
Okay, so Tyler Robinson, let's move on. Tyler Robinson took out Charlie Kirk, according to you. Did he do it alone?
You have never answered my initial question,
Okay,
which is,
what question?
If Tyler Robinson didn't pull the trigger, then what other evidence do you have to support that we can look in another route and take that seriously?
We're about to go through them right now.
Okay, let's go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So if Tyler Robinson didn't do it, this is really the crux of the problem. If Tyler Robinson didn't do it, then who did? And you've got to come up with another person and show us an alternative. Otherwise, I mean, we want to hang somebody. We don't care who it is. We want to hang somebody. We got Tyler Robinson in prison. We're going to do this. We got, this is going to be the easiest. We want to hang somebody. And this is the easiest, patsy that we found. We got it. And we can cover it all up this way. Now, if you don't want this guy to take the fall, you got to come up with another patsy. That's not how it works. Unless you look, you're working in some kind of fascist dictatorship. And again, I'm not using that word, lightly or anything. This is exactly how, my husband even told me about it under Franco, Mussolini, Franco, Hitler. This is how, Stalin, Lenin. This is how it works under an authoritarian and a fascist regime. I mean, the joke in Spain, and Europe is kind of like, oh yeah, bring in the, I mean, even in the United States, oh yeah, bring in the normal group of suspects. Go and round up the normal group of suspects in the village. This is an age-old problem within our justice system. Age-old.
So, you believe that Tyler Robinson acted alone. So somebody got to explain to me, George Zinn. Does George Zinn work with Tyler Robinson?
No.
Should he be on trial with Tyler? Why would he stand up immediately? And hold on one sec. Why would he stand up immediately and act as a decoy if he had nothing to do with it? Here's the video. This is him right in the middle of everybody.
I've seen it. Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen him get arrested.
But for the people who have not.
Yeah.
Everybody else is running. He does not. He stands up, immediately puts his hands up in the air. I did it. You only do that to distract.
Correct.
Why would he do that?
Because he's mentally ill and he has a history of being a distractor.
But
he has a history.
He's mentally ill. Let's wait a second, because Dee Dee doesn't go into this completely. Okay, he's mentally ill and he's a distractor. But wait a second. Why would he be there in the first place? He just happened to be here. Yeah, he's been known to do this at these shootings and stuff like that. What? You mean he's shown up at a whole bunch of different shootings and things like that, and made these noises? How did he know how did he know that there was going to be a shooting in the first place? He's done this before? What? Again, how would he know? How would he have had foreknowledge to be there? You say he's just crazy. Well, yeah, he might be crazy, and that's maybe why they're contacting him, whoever they is, but this is just proof that there's some conspiracy there and somebody's pulling some strings there. If he's there and he's known for doing this and he's crazy, well, wouldn't you, if you were organizing something like this, wouldn't you pick up the phone and call that crazy guy and say, hey, why don't you go over to the UVU, you be there at this date, and, you're going to hear something. You've done this before. You know the drill. Okay? I mean, how does she explain that?
Of doing that exact thing.
I'll give you here. Somebody was just shot. You don't run. Mm-hmm. You stand up and distract because you had nothing to do with nothing, but because you're just crazy. This alone,
he is a mentally ill individual. The police have investigated him because of his insanity, and they found that the man is severely mentally ill, and he has a history of doing this exact thing. So,
Lisa,
yeah,
you're doing a horrible job.
He has a history of doing this exact thing. How does he have foreknowledge and being at these different places all of the time? It costs money. You got it. Bus, train, or air, whatever, you got to pay for that. You got to pay for a hotel. You probably for a car rental, something. Somebody's, you got transportation. I mean, he doesn't get transported. They take him up and beam him up, Scotty, and in Star Trek, and then beam him down into these places. He's known for it. So shouldn't we be investigating more that? And then, yeah, he's crazy. He's mentally ill. The proof that he's mentally ill is that they found all of this porn. And that's why now he's locked up and we can't talk to him. Oh, isn't that convenient?
For him. This is a man who looks at child sexual abuse content for funsies. He is mentally deranged and mentally ill.
So that's why he
has a pattern of doing this exact thing. That doesn't mean that he's connected to any of this, and you cannot show that
he has a pattern of this exact thing. He has connection with somebody. How is he finding out about where these places, these things are going to be happening? How does he have foreknowledge? I mean, it makes no kind of sense. he has a habit of doing this type of thing. What? If you told me, oh, he was just some crazy homeless guy who's been hanging out at UVU for the past 20 years, and, you know, we don't, you know, we give him food every once in a while. He's been hanging out here, and he just you know, he's always here. He's always here. And yeah, he does that kind of stuff. You know, he just is constantly dropping his pants all over the place. And so, yeah, I guess that's not the narrative. That's not what happened. He's all over the place. He's always at these like weird shootings and all of these false flag things. He always is there and doing all of these crazy things. What?
He is like in cahoots with any of these people.
Right.
So
the Tyler Robinson footage. Why don't we have footage of him actually taking the shot, Lisa? And why are you not skeptical?
Because we haven't had a trial yet, Didi.
We don't need a trial to see them pulling the trigger. That makes no sense. That helps the prosecution.
You think that the prosecution is going to put all their cards on the table immediately? No. We haven't even gotten to
this whole thing. You think that the prosecution is going to put all of their cards on the table? I mean, like, this is not, you're playing with somebody's life here. This is not a game. This is real life. And yeah, that's what the prosecution has to do. In fact, that's what we're seeing with the prosecution has been withholding all of this information from the defense. And that's what Candace exposed today, that they just dumped. Megyn Kelly talked about this tactic. It's a well-known tactic in the courts, and it is undermining the rule of law and due process. You dump everything, and they did it the last minute. You dump it into them, and then they don't have time to look through everything. This is what the Epstein files. You just dump it all out there. And then everybody has to sift through the stuff and make sense of it. So, you know, her defending that is defending lack of due process and undermining the rights of citizens in their communities and within the judicial system.
Our pretrial hearings yet. The next hearing is April 17th, and it's to still determine whether or not camera and audio can be in the courtroom.
Okay.
We have not gotten there yet.
Got you. So let's make sense of this. Tyler Robinson got onto the roof of a building with a 30-06 that could not fit in his backpack, that cannot fit down his pants with him to be able to walk up the stairs. We don't have footage of him on the campus at all. The story goes, Tyler Robinson got onto the roof. There's no footage of that. We only see footage of a person running off the roof. But wait, hold on one second. He gets onto the roof. He assembles a 30-06 in record timing. He takes a shot and hits Charlie on the first try. I want to remind everybody, Tyler Robinson is cross-eyed. He hit Charlie on the first shot. Then he disassembles the weapon in the even faster record timing using the screwdriver.
So you already lied.
Hold on, wait, I'm not done. I'm not done. Hold on, wait.
Lied. You said that we don't.
Okay, so first off, she's not even listening to him. One thing, Dee, how does he know that Tyler Robinson is cross-eyed? That I wasn't aware of that. But here, she's like not even listening to him, and just here she's going to pull out the charging documents. This is for her. This is the only thing that counts.
Don't have surveillance of him on campus. That's complete BS. So according to the charging document, we absolutely do.
Where? Where?
Literally, it says,
you don't know what you're talking about.
Surveillance camera first captured suspect walking across a grassy area north of Campus Drive at approximately 800 West. Suspect walked south through the parking lot and approached a pedestrian tunnel that runs underneath Campus Drive. Before entering the tunnel, suspect paused at the top of the stairs and pulled out what appeared to be a cell phone from his right pocket using his right hand at approximately 11:53 hours. Let's see. We've got surveillance captured suspect making his way towards the Luze Center. At approximately 12:02 hours, suspect was recorded walking at the north side of the Luze Center building, walking with the same gait as observed earlier. Suspect entered the Luze Center building through a set of doors on the southeast corner of the Luze Center building at approximately 12:15 hours. Suspect was observed walking up the center building. I mean, it just continues and continues and continues. He 100% is put on campus on this document.
Got you. Hey, Lisa.
Suspect. Now, you have to go through all of those things. Is that the same person? Because there's also, some photos. It's like, wait a second, they're kind of dressed similar, but is this the same person?
I'm about to respond to you now. I'm about to respond to you now. Now that you read words, I'm going to repeat my original statement. We have no footage of Tyler Robinson on campus anywhere. There's no footage.
Yes, we do.
What was he wearing?
When they literally were looking for him.
What was he wearing, Lisa?
Taken on
what was the color of his shirt, Lisa?
I believe he had on a black shirt with like an American eagle and a flag on it.
That was not Tyler Robinson. That's been debunked multiple times.
No, that has not been. Where?
Multiple times.
Provide evidence.
I can show you a side by side. We don't have to go to the evidence.
She hasn't provide evidence. She hasn't been watching the various podcasters who have been producing the evidence. She just comes out there, and I'm sick and tired. I mean, I've been watching all of these people very closely. I mean, okay, my motivation has been also analyzing the different, the different dialogues, the different ideologies, the different factions. So, I'm on a different page than these people. But, I mean, if you are going to opine and get out there on the internet and within the public media domain and start talking about these things, you are having an influence on the process, and you better do your homework. Because if you are having a detrimental effect on this process and trying to undermine Tyler Robinson's right to a fair trial, you're really digging yourself deep into a hole, little girl.
Finish yet. I can show you a side by side.
You made the claim. Provide evidence that is not Tyler Robinson, because his own mother said that was Tyler Robinson. His mother is the one who identified him from that footage. Yes,
she is not. That's a lie.
Yes, she did.
No, she is not.
See, this, getting out there and repeating. They have been repeating this from the beginning and repeating, and podcasters are out there saying that is not true. That is not true. That is not true. We just went through the Brandy and Billy with, that's one of the reasons why I wanted to play the whole thing with Zach Costello, because you really, that went into that. No, Tyler Robinson's family do not think that he did it. And this is a lie that is being repeated and repeated and repeated. And this is particularly with the Lisa, the Gary Melton, and that whole camp. Talking about Candace being problematic.
I've been over this. I do this. No, all right, fine. Let's get back to what I was saying about Tyler Robinson. He disassembled the 30-06.
Have you not read the charging document at all?
Stop interrupting me. It's not going to work, Lisa. I'm about to cook you.
Oh, yeah, you're not cooking much right about now, but yourself.
Got you. He disassembled the weapon in record timing using a screwdriver. Left the screwdriver on the roof, got off the building, jumped down, ran off, conveniently left the weapon, reassembled on a property that happens to be owned by Palantir without a screwdriver. Lisa, he left the screwdriver. How did he reassemble it? And just so people can understand what I mean when I say record timing, I'm about to show you what I mean when I say record timing.
On this episode of You Might Be a Dumb Motherfucker, this is my rifle. It takes two different tools to take it apart.
This is not real life.
A key and an Allen key. Now, if I take a shot and immediately disassemble this, I have to remove the bolt,
This is not real life. or real live. I mean,
the magazine, grab my Allen key, hit the 2 bolts on the bottom, put those away in the Allen key, grab my Torx key, remove the scope, put everything in the backpack, make sure I have everything, and make my way downtown. Okay, which is going to take a lot longer for him than it is for me, especially because his fine-tuned motor function, something as simple as grabbing an Allen key to a little bolt, is going to be extremely impaired due to a dump of adrenaline throughout his bloodstream. An extreme elevated heart rate is going to make these fine-tuned skills extremely difficult. I mean, just for him to think and analyze of what needs to be done to disassemble this rifle and get away would be difficult. We're not even going to touch the topic of him assembling the rifle on top of the roof, which if you reassemble a rifle and you take a cold dead shot, it's not going to be 100% accurate, okay? Or the fact that he disassembled this after taking a shot, which the rifle's going to be hot, they found no gloves. There's just so many inconsistencies, it just makes zero sense. I mean, I'm still working on this, and I have taken this rifle apart 1,000 times. And now he has to put the pieces of the rifle into a backpack. And this is a gigantic backpack. Shout out Wolfpack, best backpacks on the fucking planet. Anyways, as you can see, this barrel, broken down, does not fit in this backpack. And this is a big boy, way bigger than...
Watch Lisa, how engaged she is. In watching this, she's just there to read her talking points. I mean, this is the same thing that Erica Kirk is doing. This is the same thing the TPUSA people are doing. And it is, I mean, it's of epidemic proportions. If you come to Washington and you go to any of these think tanks, start all of these committee meetings, all the staffers, you engage with these staffers up on Capitol Hill. This is, Lisa, is the exact mentality that there is a lack of cognitive abilities. And this is something that has been produced by our educational systems, and the whole narcissism epidemic. It's explained at great detail in the book, The Narcissism Epidemic, Living in the Age of Entitlement by Twang and Campbell. And it really, they do an excellent job. And this is, perfect example of the product of that.
The one he was carrying, okay? I put the rifle stock in here, and guess what? It doesn't fit. It sticks out. Now, let's just say, for sake of argument, that he put these in his pant leg and he was walking. These are still so long broken down that he would not be able to walk straight. He wouldn't be able to bend his legs.
That is not Tyler Robinson.
Doesn't make fucking sense.
He's immediately running after the fact. How is that possible? That's literally impossible. It's literally impossible.
It's not literally impossible. And again, we haven't had a trial. So until we actually see the evidence.
Again, it's not impossible. We haven't had a trial. Now, this is a huge problem. And this, I mean, goes back to my case when in Spain, when this started. It's just like, no, you have to let the process go through. I'm like, wait a second. You don't get a second chance in court. I mean, if your lawyer screws that up, you're screwed. I mean, for me, my kids were handed over. I mean, thank God I'm not talking about, young children who, when my case first started in Spain, I read a news article. It was horrific. There was a woman who had lost custody of her children. This was in Norway or Sweden, I believe. Somewhere in Northern Europe. It's happening everywhere. She had lost custody of her children and she killed them. She drowned them in the bathtub, and unfortunately, she didn't kill herself. And people were horrified. They were like, what? Some woman losing custody of her kids. And somebody in the comments said, no, what's happening in these cases is that the abuse of these children is just so horrific. It's being covered up by the courts. The women are taking their lives and taking the lives of their children because their lives are one of torture and pain and suffering, and so it's an act of mercy, and we have this happening a lot. 70 to 90% of 70% of sexually and physically abused children are handed over to the abuser, 90% of psychologically abused. So this is not insignificant, and it is precisely because we're dealing with this type of stuff. And, we'll just let the process go through. But wait a second, you guys have screwed up everything. You've covered up this. You haven't presented the evidence. You haven't done this properly. I mean, it looks like Tyler Robinson's lawyers are moderately competent. So he's not totally, in my word, totally incompetent. But anyway, if they had done what I had told them, it wouldn't have ended up like that. But this is another thing. I'm like, wait a second, I never went to law school, but I know how to present evidence. I know how to look at evidence. I know how to produce evidence, and I know how to present it in an argument. I mean, my grandfather was the first white lawyer to successfully defend a black man in the Deep South in 1910. Maybe I got it in the DNA. My family tree includes John Dickinson, founding father. I don't know. You can call it DNA. You can call it, what do you call it? Being reborn and all of that stuff. Who knows? Who cares? But don't tell me I'm wrong, and don't bullshit me.
I can't even definitively say any of this.
Got you.
You're completely operating off of assumptions and hearsay.
Got you. Can I go now?
It's not. He's operating off of facts.
Your tactics are not going to work here. I'm trying to understand. Tyler Robinson shot him and then immediately ran. He has to break down the weapon. That's what they said he did. How did he do that in 3 seconds?
We don't know that he broke down the weapon.
We have it on. So what was the weapon at when he was running?
There's people who believe that he put it down the side of his pants.
I'm not asking people, Lisa. I'm asking you. You can't run with the
We don't know, bro. We don't have a trial. We do not have all of the evidence.
This is how everybody that's why
we don't have a trial. We wait until the trial, and if the evidence isn't produced, and well, too bad. Yeah, another one bites the dust.
This is how trials work.
I mean, we have the new Jim Crow. We have literally how many people in prison that have been unjustly imprisoned? There's a huge problem in this country. And to sit there and say we have this legal system that works, anybody who does that is a criminal.
That the dude was never even seen on campus. Like, I'm honestly, I'm done with you. Like, there's nowhere to go from here. You are completely delusional.
I would be done with me too. You're getting cooked, and I'm not even started yet.
You're not getting cooked. I'm not getting.
This is the thing. You're delusional. I mean, she calls him names when she can't argue her case. She just resorts to calling him names.
Cooked at all. You look absolutely delusional. You need to be put in a straitjacket and be put in a mental institution along with everybody else. Because again, Lisa. What you are
this is what is scary. You need to be put in a straitjacket and locked up just like everybody else. Now, but this is some crazy bitch who's out there screaming and yelling. No, this is the Trump. This is, and Trump's a puppet, but this is the fascist regime that we're heading into. And it's on the right as much as the left. But it's this kind of fascism that we don't like what you're saying. We're going to just call you crazy and lock you up.
You are operating off of complete and total hearsay. You don't even understand the basic rules of debate, which is very sad.
Hey, Lisa.
She's the one who
This is about to get worse. I'm not even 50% yet, and I'm not even disrespecting you. If you leave, everybody knows why.
Again, I already told you when I'm leaving. I'm leaving at 7:00.
Okay. So this is what I'm saying.
He's got her hooked, and he's like, I'm just toying with you, little girl. And she's out of her element.
That is what you just showed on that
can I respond to
that
you?
whole circus. That's not proof. That's not evidence.
You wait for me to talk so that you can talk with me. It's not going to work. So I'm going to let you go.
Everything that you just showed for your little circus, your little entertainment that you put on there for your audience, that is not considered proof. That's not considered evidence or a credible source by any stretch of the imagination.
2 words, reasonable doubt. That alone,
I'm going to have fun with clip farming you later. So,
Lisa, this alone gets them off. Reasonable doubt is all they need.
Are you listening to yourself?
You don't know what the state has in their back pocket. So you are stating all of this based completely off of
Do you think Erica Kirk knows?
Why should the state have something in their back pocket? Shouldn't I mean, in discovery, this has been the problem. The state has not wanted to hand over all of the evidence to the defense so that they can examine it and they can appropriate address the issues. It's a railroad. It's a typical railroading bullshit that's been going on for a long time, for centuries, from generations.
What the state has?
Here we go. Let's shift the goalpost.
No, it's the same topic. I'm asking for a reason. Do you think Erica Kirk knows?
What evidence do you have that is actually credible and supported that shows that Tyler Robinson did not take that shot?
Your tactic is not going to work. Google Trends. Let's talk about the Google Trends. All these people were Googled well before the event.
Saying the same thing. What evidence do you have to support that Tyler Robinson did not take that shot?
We're going through them now. I've never seen any footage of Tyler Robinson.
Yes, you did. His own mother identified him based off that footage.
Nope, she didn't.
It's literally in the charging document.
Got you. Hey, when Charlie got hit, why did Mike?
I mean, she just keeps on, and she never, if that's her position, well, then she should have the text of the charging document and say, here it says, his mother, she on the telephone called the police and said, whatever it says in the charging documents. She keeps on saying, well, it's in the charging documents. It's in the charging documents. I mean, I'm going to go and read the charging documents because it's true. I haven't read them yet. So if I'm going to address that, I do need to read it, but so does she.
McCoy turn around so fast? He never ducked. Do you find this? I'm not saying
this is not serious. This is not a serious debate.
Got you, Lisa. You're getting cooked.
This is not a serious debate. And the fact that you think that this is serious tells me how much of a joke that you are.
Okay.
This is not serious by any stretch of the imagination. Are you just going to
continue with that hominums, or are we going to really engage in a conversation? Mm-hmm. I'm curious about your opinion. Why did
I remember this. Oh my God! This was at Orange Grove Road School in Tucson, Arizona. It was a junior high, and I remember specifically because, okay, we're going to learn how to debate. And they gave you a piece of paper and here's what you have to, here's the position and you have to defend this position. And I looked at the piece of paper and I don't know, I think it was about abortion or something, but I think maybe that's in my head. I don't think they would have given me that. But anyway, I don't remember what the subject was exactly, but whatever it was, I didn't agree with it. I agreed with the opposite. And I said when it came my turn, and I said, yeah, but I don't believe this. I don't agree with this. And she said, that doesn't matter. That's what you have to, you have to debate. Now, I think I did a really bad job in my debate. I'm okay. This is, this is like 8th grade. But it was a very good exercise. And afterwards I was thinking about it. I was like, yeah, they're right. A debater, you need to be able to get up there and debate either side, and you need to be prepared. And if you really want to be a good debater and prove your point in a debate effectively, I mean, my God, debating now is just, they have somebody getting up there, blah, 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 and they speak as fast as they can. Whoever can say more words than the other person is the one who wins. I mean, this country is crazy. It's gone batshit crazy. But and if you want to be good at a debate, you really should be able to, and if you're going to have to be able to know what your adversary is going to come up with and what they're going to come and attack you on. And in order to know that, you better know how to defend, how to present the defense, because every time that they come at you with their position, their assertion, you better be prepared to counteract that. So you got to know beforehand what your adversary is going to be arguing. So it's even just as important, if not more important, to be able to, of course you don't want your adversary to win, but be able to put yourself in the shoes of your adversary and say, how am I going to, in this case, prosecute this case? So that you are ahead of the game and that you know ahead of time what's coming at you. I mean, it's called being prepared. I mean, as I said, I did a crappy job at debating or whatever. Sometimes in school, I remember one teacher, I said, I didn't do a very good job at this report. I just didn't have the time. And he said, sometimes, you just don't have the time and you do the best that you can and that, then you move on. And he was right. But, learning from you have something to learn from everything. But as I say, this girl, she did not have the same debate professor that I did in 8th grade. And this is a lesson that she would do well to learn now.
Mikey McCoy turned around so fast he never ducked. Why? We see that on footage.
Again, I am not looking at Turning Point employees. They are not suspects in this investigation. What do you have to support that Tyler Robinson did not take that shot?
Lisa, why did they pave over the pavement so fast? What you got?
Yeah.
What do you have?
She's got nothing.
You need to answer the question. What
Charlie
evidence
Kirk
do you have
scheduled.
that is
Charlie
credible
Kirk was-
that supports that Tyler Robinson did not take that shot?
Man, I'm just okay. Charlie Kirk was scheduled for the event the very next day.
All of the
dude
evidence.
literally had
You
no.
can keep running like a
What's
track
ridiculous?
star if you want to. You're looking ridiculous. What evidence do you have to support that is credible?
She's the one who was looking ridiculous. I mean, it boggles the mind.
That Tyler Robinson did not take that shot.
I just told you.
No, you didn't. You gave me a bunch of hearsay and a bunch of my opinion. That's not evidence. That's not proof.
So I'm about to respond. I would like to respond without you butting in. Bingo. Hey, everybody watching, watch what she's about to do. I'm born for this. It's not going to work.
Yep, he is born for this.
If you are arguing that Tyler Robinson did it. I'm arguing that he did not. So I'm the defense. You're the prosecution. You're trying to prosecute him. Tyler Robinson does not have to prove that he didn't do it. They have to prove that he did.
You are going against the state because you're not the defense. You're not a lawyer. You have no legal expertise or experience whatsoever. You've already stated so. So at the end of the day, you are saying that the state is completely making up everything that's in that charging document and that it doesn't exist. You realize that that's not possible. You can't put something in a charging document if it does not exist. That's not how this works. That's not real life. You're living in a fantasy. So again, what do you
see? That's the type of thing that I'm like, this girl is dangerous. Because to sit there, and this is all the time, what are you telling me? It's not possible that authorities are wrong. One cannot question authority. That is dangerous. And that, you have to protect the people's freedom of speech, but you also have to realize when people's freedom of speech is directed at promoting censorship and the negation of other people's rights in society, in your communities, that steps over a line of freedom of speech, because you're promoting that harm be done to another person. You know, her agenda is to have Tyler Robinson, whatever the evidence shows, she wants him the death penalty. That's what they're calling for. She is calling for a murder of a person that, to all evidence, is innocent of any crime. That's not, that's just not espousing your opinion about something. That's advocating for a tort, a harm of another person. That you have knowledge and you have evidence that people are presenting to you that you don't want to look at under any circumstances, that it is not possible what you are saying that he did is what he really did. Now you can say, well, he did something else. That's a possibility. But what you are saying, that he was on there, that he was on that roof and he took the gun and shot Charlie Kirk, killed Charlie Kirk with that gun and that bullet. You can't prove that. And as Dee Dee keeps on trying to point out, and this is what, Zach, and more power to them, there is the presumption of innocence, the burden of proof of a crime or a tort, whatever the tort might be, is on the prosecution. It's not on the accused to prove their innocence. It goes to the fundamental of a civilized society. This is the Lord of the Flies all over again.
You have that is credible evidence to support that Tyler Robinson did not take that shot.
So I'm about to respond now. Bingo, thank you. Tyler Robinson supposedly pow-powed Charlie Kirk with the 30-06. A 30-06 that he left after the fact. Okay. The police show up to the campus to look for the gun. They can't find it. They have bomb-sniffing dogs. They can't find the weapon anywhere. They look in the area where the weapon will later be found. It's not until the feds show up, and conveniently enough, they find the weapon. If you all do not know how strong bomb-sniffing dogs' noses are, I have a clip to play, but I'm not going to play it here because she's on a short time stretch and she's trying to find excuses to get out of this. My job here is to prove reasonable doubt. I've done that about 15 times already in this video.
Yes. You have not at all. You have not even hardly substantiated your claim.
Yes,
at the end of the day,
yes, he has.
Again, bomb-sniffing dogs are not, they don't look for weapons.
What? I was waiting for this one. So bomb-sniffing dogs don't look for weapons. I think what she's trying to say is here, they don't look for guns. They look for explosives, but these dogs, I don't think it's, I mean, gunpowder is an explosive. I don't know how well they can sniff out plastic, but I think gunpowder is basically, I think that would probably be their forte. I would think that and I think, I may be wrong, I'm not an expert in ballistics or any of that stuff at all, but I don't think you have specialized, again, I might be wrong, my understanding was these dogs, now you might have the marijuana dogs that aren't going to be able to sniff out the weapons, whether they be bombs or guns that have just been fired, but I'm pretty sure when these dogs, they're not so specialized that this one's got a doctorate and handguns. He can only sniff out handguns, this one. So we got a handgun. We got to call this dog in. And this one over here is the shotgun expert. And this one over here is the plastic. I'm pretty sure when they train these dogs, they're pretty much, they teach them to sniff. I mean, I think bombs, as I say, it's either with gunpowder, some plastic stuff. I don't think that there's the bases of what these weapons are made out of are that diverse.
That's not what they're trained to do. There are weapons dogs that look for weapons. Bomb sniffing dogs don't look for weapons. So where did you even get that information? Where are you pulling this from?
That's not how this works.
Yes.
Sorry that you don't know. No.
Okay. Weapons sniffing dogs. So you got some dogs that don't sniff. You just got some dogs that are really good eyesight. And those are the dogs that look for the weapons that are out in the open. And then you got the other dogs that sniff the bullets or something. Not making any sense.
There's literally a man who actually trains these dogs who made a whole video against Candace's claims because bomb sniffing dogs don't look for gunpowder. Those are two completely different types of canines. You don't even know what you're talking about.
Got you. Hey, why did they pave over the...
I'm going to have to check into this. As I say, that may be very well the case. Okay, so she says you have bomb sniffing dogs and then dogs that go and sniff out gunpowder that have been shot. Okay, so Charlie Kirk was not killed by a bomb. He was killed apparently by a shotgun. So if they brought in the dogs, the sniffing dogs, they would have brought in dogs that sniffed gunpowder and looking for a gun, a rifle or something, some sort of gun. Because obviously if Charlie Kirk was shot by a gun and you're looking for the gun, you're not going to say, hey, would you send me over some dogs that look for bombs? No. You're going to say, send me over those PhD bomb sniffing dogs with their PhDs in sniffing out weapons and sniffing out guns, and you get those ones over here. You're not going to send me the ones with the bombs, right? Okay. I mean, come on.
The crime scene.
So you're just going to, again, burden shift.
Yes, because that's reasonable doubt. Lisa, listen, that's reasonable doubt.
You need to listen and actually respond to what is being said instead of listening to just give your next talking point, my guy. What you are doing right now, this is not actual debate.
Lisa, this is bad.
Have you ever listened to Trent Horn? Have you listened to Andrew Wilson? Have you actually ever watched a actual constructed debate in your entire life? Because this is a disaster and you should be embarrassed.
It is a disaster, but the disaster is coming from this little girl.
So more ad hominems. Shout out to Andrew Wilson.
No,
I called out Andrew Wilson a couple of times. Okay.
And this is not how this goes at all. What you are doing is a joke. I hope that you understand that this is a joke. Again, what is your claim? Where are you substantiating that bomb sniffing dogs would be looking for a rifle?
Well, as I said before, if you had a crime scene where there was a rifle, there was a gunshot, you're not going to send dogs that are specialized in looking for these bombs, apparently, that they're specialized in. You had a gunshot. So you take the dogs who find the gunshot and you send them over there. You don't send the dogs for the bombs. Right? Right? Common sense. If your bureaucrats are doing that bullshit, we got a problem there.
Is your evidence to support that?
I'm not going to speak if you're going to interrupt me. So I want you to get done first. Babbling. Whenever you're done babbling, nonsense. I would like to go next.
I asked my question.
Oh, my Lord.
What is your evidence to support that a bomb-sniffing dog would be looking for a rifle?
That's literally what happened.
Well, no. See, this is where you missed it, Dee. You missed it. Yeah. Okay.
Sir, it is not.
All right, I'm about to respond.
Provide me with the document where you're pulling that from. Where's the court document that said that it was bomb-sniffing dogs that were used to find this rifle?
I don't have that right here in front of me, but I can get that for you.
Great.
So I'm the only one here that's provided evidence to support anything that I've been saying. You have not done that. Andrew Wilson, I've called him out a couple of times. I would be more than willing to have a conversation with Andrew Wilson. And respectfully, I would annihilate Andrew Wilson on this topic as well.
Yeah,
and I think that he's a great debater.
All right, I'll make sure I put that out to him and have him come and
that Tyler Robinson did this beyond a reasonable doubt. There is so much doubt in this case. We haven't even talked about the pressure that Charlie was dealing with in his life.
You can't have doubt over a case and a trial that hasn't even played out. You don't know what evidence the state even has.
Erica Kirk has told us, lady, what they have. What you got now?
She has not. She cannot do so.
Wait. Say less. Hold on.
She's literally going to be called probably to testify. So no, she cannot lay out what evidence that they have.
That's not no. What I'm saying is,
I highly doubt anybody is going to put Erica Kirk on the stand unless it's Tyler Robinson's attorney. But I don't see really. I'm not sure. I mean, that would be speculation. That would be speculating on how they're developing their defense. Now that they can hide their cards. The defense can hide their cards. But this whole thing of the prosecution hiding their cards, I got a big problem with that. A real big problem with that. Because this opens a Pandora's box on the rights of litigants within the courts. And I've been working on that shit for 20 years, little girl. And they took my kids. I mean, I've been marginalized. I've been dragged through the gauntlet for all of this shit. So I've done my homework. So, why don't you get up and get in the ring with the heavyweight?
Erica Kirk has specifically spoken on the fact that based on the evidence she's seen, she believes that Tyler Robinson is guilty. Yet, when when Erica Kirk, Candace Owens met up, her attorney literally told Candace the complete opposite. Said that
and
they
what's
don't
your
have
proof for that?
Candace Owens shared it. Erica Kirk has not denied it.
Yeah, see, this is exactly, where's your proof that Candace Owens has said this? I mean, this is on the internet. There are literally thousands, even if it was to disappear from the internet, thousands of people can attest to this. In fact, everybody was pissed off that Candace Owens, she was a traitor. This was supposed to be, live and everybody knew about the meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk.
And Candace has never provided anything except her word of mouth. You know that anybody can get on the internet and say anything that they want.
Yeah. And then Candace came out. Everybody wanted to know. They were waiting. Oh my God, the world was waiting to find out what had happened in the meeting between Candace and Erica. Now, that meeting never occurred. I would think that Erica would say, whoa, wait a second, we never had a meeting. Now, Candace comes out and she tells us what happened in the meeting. Now, if Candace is saying is untrue, then Erica would come out and say, that's bullshit. This is what happened. But Erica, by not saying, oh, that's not true. And all of this time, if somebody says, we had a meeting and I said 2 + 2 = 4, whatever. And we come out of the meeting and we have I have a press, conference, and I say yes. And in the meeting, I said 2 + 2 = 4. And nobody, the person I had the meeting with doesn't, they don't confirm it, but they don't deny it. Well, by the fact that they don't deny it, kind of confirms that that's what I had said in the meeting, and that's what we had established in the meeting. I mean, that's kind of how it works. Because if I said something false about what had transpired in the meeting, then the other person in the meeting would, of course, come out and say that's not true. And then set the record straight. Right? Isn't that how it would go down?
To you,
I'm
right?
so confused here. So you're suggesting that Candace Owens or anybody, I'm not done. I'm not done. Lisa, I'm not done. Lisa. It's not going to work here. I'm not done.
Did Candace Owens provide proof of Erica's statements? Yes or no?
Got you. So Candace Owens met with Erica Kirk. She has the biggest podcast in the world on any given day. She shares what Erica Kirk and her talked about. Erica Kirk has come out publicly multiple times since that point. She's never denied that. Why is that?
Because she's going to sue Candace Owens.
Oh, boy.
So,
She's
no.
going to sue Candace Owens. So Candace Owens said something in this meeting that the world was waiting to find out about what happened, what was said between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. Now, Candace Owens does have a witness, like her cousin or something like that. Erica Kirk has a witness as well at the meeting. But so there's all this meeting and everything like that. But Erica Kirk doesn't deny what Candace Owens said because she wants to sue Candace. That's malicious litigation. I mean, she doesn't want to come out and set the record straight. She just wants to go out and directly sue Candace Owens. That doesn't make any sense.
Oh, every lawyer on the planet has told her not to go back and forth or engage with Candace Owens. That's just...
This is so bad.
I'm not even a lawyer.
Every lawyer on the planet has advised Erica Kirk to not engage with Candace Owens, and they're just going to sue her. Okay, so let's find out where this girl's getting her information, because this sounds pretty crazy to me.
Lawyer, and I could tell you that.
Mm-hmm.
I know that you believe Candace when she's like, why won't they answer me? Why won't they respond? I just don't understand. She knows why. She knows exactly why they're not responding to her.
Why haven't they sued her yet?
Because they're not going to. Because their lawyers...
Well, who hasn't responded to her? And yeah, why are they suing her? And who hasn't responded to Candace? I'm not sure. She's not clarifying that.
Have told them not to discuss anything with her further.
How do you know that?
Yeah.
This is just very basic information. If you
just said what they were told by their... No.
Why would you be in communication with the person that you're going to sue?
Why is she suing Candace?
This coming from the man who can't even provide evidence of Candace, showing that Erica actually made these statements. You're taking Candace on a trust me, bro. Is that what you're saying? Yes or no?
This is not going to work.
So there was a meeting that was, it had originally, we have that confirmed from Megyn Kelly, because Megyn Kelly says that she had originally been contacted to kind of, act as the mediator in a public meeting between Candace Owens and Erica Kirk. And I believe it was Erica who then didn't want it public and in private. So that could have either been filmed, but then that would have had to have, the approved, both of those people would have, both Candace and Erica would have had to have been in agreement. And then it'd be kind of like, well, why aren't you just doing it live? And, if you're going to have a copy of it. And, I mean, the thing is pulling this out. This is the typical, oh, well, what proof do you have of what went on in that meeting? Well, you have my testimony. Oh, but that's hearsay. Ah, see? That's why I carry my handy-dandy little recorder with me. And I record everything that goes on in these meetings. Oh, that's dirty pool. That's illegal. You can't record people without their knowledge. Huh? It depends on what jurisdiction. And also, let's see. There's the the whole Julian Assange stuff we've had coming out. So if, this is stealing, stealing government documents and all sorts of stuff. This gets much above than the just film, recording a conversation so that you would have proof of a recording of a conversation between two people, and that the person that you're meeting with is bad faith, particularly. You want recording. I mean, that's one of the things that the commercial law professor 101, apart from contracts, torts, and writs, it was get everything in writing. Now, if you can't get it in writing, you, of course, then you can also get it recording. Then she's saying, well, you have to have proof. So see, this type of and this is the dictatorial, authoritarian mindset of, we're going to get everything in private. We're going to have all of these private meetings. Therefore, everything goes on behind closed doors, and we just deny. And if somebody gets proof, ooh, you're a traitor. Your
favor.
Are you taking Candace on a trust me, bro?
Lisa, this is not going to work in your favor.
Are you taking Candace on a trust me, bro? Yes or no? Why can't you answer the question?
Man, I'm allowed to speak, Lisa. This is not going to work.
I mean, what is she denying, that the meeting took place, or what is she denying there?
You're a horrible debater. You don't know what you're doing. You're out of your league here. I'm
not out of my league. What is answer the question, Didi? Did Candace provide evidence of Erica's statements in that conversation?
Stop talking.
Yes or no?
Stop talking. So
Did
Andrew Kovach,
she provide evidence of Erica's statements in that conversation? Yes or no?
Andrew Kovach.
What evidence does she want him to produce of what exactly transpired word for word within the conversation between Erica Kirk and Candace Owens? If we have a recording, then that would potentially, what is she trying to, entrap Candace and say, oh, you have a recording, was that legal? You see, I mean, the proof that what transpired in the meeting is that Candace Owens reported what happened in the meeting, and Erica Kirk has never denied it. That's your proof.
Has been told not to share details about the case.
Answer the question. Why is it so hard for you to answer a yes and no question? Yes or no?
Go ahead.
Did Candace Owens provide evidence of Erica making those statements? Yes or no?
Yes, she did. Yes, she did.
Okay, so now I'm about to respond.
She did.
And you will not cut me off, correct?
Unless it's a yes or no.
You don't get to dictate the way the conversation goes.
Yes, I asked you a straightforward question. Answer it or don't.
Okay, I'm not going to.
Of course you're not.
I mean, this girl, who does she think you are? You're going to answer how I tell you you're going to answer? No, he's going to answer however he wants to answer. My Lord.
Boom.
Because you're not a serious individual, and this is not a serious podcast.
You think so? You don't believe it.
This is not a serious debate. As someone who has been in probably over 1,000 debates in my life, this is not a serious debate, and no one with half a brain cell should be taking you seriously right now. This is a joke.
I got you. So more at home. I'm ready to get to the details of this case, though. So
I've been waiting for an hour.
Got you. Why did Mr. Farnsworth take the SD card behind Charlie? That's evidence. Why would he do that?
So we're burden shifting again.
Oh boy. No, she has no answers either.
We're asking questions.
Oh boy. Why did they pave over the crime scene? She won't answer.
Dude.
Oh boy. We have no footage of Tyler Robinson taking the shot.
I don't know how to tell you this other than you look like an absolute clown right now.
You've told me
you are burden shifting. You are not holding yourself to your position. You are not providing any evidence to.
See, burden shifting. No. She's burden shifting. He's asking questions. Why was this done? Why was that done? She's the one who's not. He's asking simple questions. She's refusing to answer.
To back up or support your claims. And this is absolutely absurd. I am staying here right now because I told you a very specific time limit. And so I'm going to stay here and ride this out, even though you look absolutely insane.
Absolutely. More ad hominems. Anything else?
Do you not understand how bad this looks? Have you ever done any research into how to hold an official debate? Have you ever even watched an official debate? Got
you. So Tyler Robinson, we're supposed to believe that Tyler Robinson scanned this roof, disassembled a weapon in impossible timing. That alone is reasonable doubt.
No, it's not.
You're cooked right there. You're cooked.
No, it's not, because you don't have all of the evidence.
What lady? What do you? We have the footage. The shot rang out.
We don't have all of the footage. Do you understand that there are over
that's not what I mean.
9,000 cameras on the UVU campus? There's no way that they don't have footage of him taking that shot.
Exactly. Where is it?
But we won't know until the trial, which has literally not happened yet.
You're making my case. What do I need?
So she's affirming that in the trial, the prosecution is going to be showing that footage. Now, why hasn't that been shown to the public before now? That would have stopped a lot of debate out there. Was it the intention of the authorities to get all of these podcasters to be arguing all about this stuff? And the ballistics people, is that what she's telling everybody? That this whole thing was a psyop, so that we would all be discussing all of this stuff and everybody would be arguing, and to incite, more animosity out there? Is that what she's saying?
You are putting the cart before the horse. No, I'm not making your case. I'm saying you need to slow your roll, because you're making assumptions about things that you have no idea what you're talking about.
Got you. So I'm about to respond now. Okay. Your words. We do not have the footage yet of him taking the shot, yet you believe that he did it.
Again, we have a charging document that you have not even read. Have you read the charging document?
Mm-hmm.
Yet you said that we didn't have any footage of him on campus, even though it literally
when I say that we do not, it means nobody in the public has seen any footage of him. Any footage of him. That's what I mean by that. You have the footage that was released when they were searching for him, but you say that it's not him. What footage are you talking about? The man in the black shirt is not Tyler Robinson.
His mother identified him based off of that footage.
Fine.
So you're saying that his own mother doesn't even know who he is? His mother did not say that. His mother never said that. Yes, it's in the charging document.
Yep.
No, it's not.
It also says that his father is the one who turned him in, Matt Robinson.
That never happened. Also, we don't have any footage of that.
That didn't happen, yet it's in the charging document. So the charging document is lying? Is that what you're saying?
Yes. I believe they're lying.
You cannot lie on a charging document.
It's happened before.
Whatever evidence is...
This is where you cannot lie on a charging document. I mean, this girl lives in... This is what's dangerous. It lives in this complete imaginary world. I mean, this is the wonderful land about... They don't lie in charging documents. I was told when I got into this whole goddamn thing with the legal community, I was told by a lawyer that I was stupid and naive because everybody lies in courts. Everybody falsifies evidence. Everybody commits perjury. It's expected. And she's sitting there saying it's not possible that anybody would lie in charging documents, or there would be any false information in charging documents. I mean, that is so dangerous. That does not come under freedom of speech. That is intentionally dispersing misinformation, lies, so that somebody's going to end up on the electric chair. Well, now they shoot them up or whatever. Maybe they don't zap them, but kill them. This is murder.
Listed in that charging document, it must exist. You realize this?
Lisa, yes.
So you're saying that they're holding him behind bars right now based off of nothing. Is that your claim?
Lisa, you have to understand, you're the prosecution.
No, I'm not the prosecution. We're not playing your little game. I'm not playing your game. I'm not Robinson.
This is how debate.
Again,
Andrew Wilson literally debates like this.
They are holding Tyler
That's how a debate works, little girl.
Robinson right now with a charging document that is fraudulent, and that they are holding him on absolutely nothing. Is that your claim?
I mean, you are debating a legal case. So you do have to be using legal principles in your debate if you are debating a case before a court of law.
The person that you just referenced is Andrew Wilson. He literally engages in debates just like this. You think that man is guilty. You don't see any footage of him taking a shot. We don't see anybody taking a shot.
Because there hasn't been a trial.
Well, right, so you should not believe it yet. You don't have the proof.
We have what is in the charging document, and we absolutely can believe what is in the charging document.
Do you care about anything else that was going on in Charlie's life leading up to that point, as far as him fearing for his life? You know that's kind of important, right?
No.
It's not important that he was in fear for his life. I'm sorry?
It's important for you to try to burden shift, which you've done about 1 million times. Give multiple fallacies, which you've done multiple times.
Got you. You've learned a new
everything burden shift. That's all she knows how to say.
Phrase, burden shift. Got you. Great. Cool. Smart.
That's literally what it's called in debate.
Got you. No, what I'm saying to you is we don't have footage of the man taking the shot. That's a fact. I have not seen any proof
that's not a fact because you don't know what the state has, and they very much allude to that in the charging document that they have that footage.
I just asked this woman, do you care about Charlie fearing for his life up until that point? She said no.
We don't have any proof that Charlie feared for his life up until that point.
What?
Do you care if I was able to provide you some proof of that? Would that shift your perspective?
They just talked about that with that guy. The whole tweet. That was the whole tweet that was all about. Like this whole friend, I forget what the name was. I mean, this is crazy. So yeah, I mean, this goes on and on. I've done this for 3 hours. This goes on and on and on and on and on with Dee and this Lisa girl. With this kind of mentality, this gets into, the book, Marianne Seigart's father, his book, Paul Seigart, The Lawful Rights of Mankind. And a book review. That book was published in 1985. The book review. This is Alex Joel. Alex, I always forget. Alex Joel, I think it is. And he said that, the problem that he saw with the book was that an implementation of human rights conventions into the legal process, which would be an implementation of litigants' rights and due process and upholding the rule of law and all of that stuff. The problem that he saw was that he didn't think that the lawyers would be able to, they wouldn't understand it. And she's just proving his point. Very well. It's beyond her comprehension. He keeps on trying to explain to her these basic principles, and she just goes back to those, just like Pump Sullivan talks about this with the religious cults. And secular cults work the same way as religious cults. Anytime you confront them with any of the with reality. They just come back with you, the talking points. They go back to their talking points. And that's part of the MK Ultra, you know, I mean, that's not just the CIA. Societies have been using those games for generations and centuries and centuries and centuries. So that's, I mean, voila, the state of affairs. So have a nice evening. Night.